eyes on the land so wide, feels like I'm meant to stride. Flat earth beneath my feet, knowing I'm here to meet. Ocean's edge, it calls my name. Purpose in this life's game. Horizons line so clear, God's love brings me near. Flat earth made by him, my journey long yet thin. Purpose found in every day, guided by his gentle sway.
Yo, Fluffs, what's up? It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming. I'm glad you can make it. We are joined by Michael, PJ, and the Roger. How you guys doing?
Yo,
Good.
It's good to see you. Yeah, guys, the debate's going to start in 15 minutes. So we are now with the pre-show, waiting to come in. I hope you please hit the likes, share the show. I really appreciate you all. So what are you guys' thoughts? What are we going to discuss tonight? This is the debate.
I wonder.
That's a good question.
Debate.
Mm,
It's going to go straight to TFE, isn't it? Surely.
mm,
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. All I know is the guy's a numbskull.
Maybe he'll do the normal, and then his trump card will be TFE.
We,
Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah.
Well, I can hear Discord. Was that Discord?
Yeah, we're going to be on Discord debating. That's what it says. You guys can stay in here if you want to.
All right. Okay. You're
I'm not
debating
going to
this.
listen to it. I'll wait till you
But,
cover it or whatever.
But knowing him, he's probably going to get triggered and stuff. And I don't know how long the debate's going to go. I don't think it's going on too long.
Cool.
He's going to get very frustrated with me very quickly.
Remember Bob as his master. So he's got now here in the debate. He's going to teach you something.
Remember, every time Planet Peterson debates someone, it always sounds like someone who's either paid to act like a flat earther or someone who's literally looks like they just got into it and don't know what's going on. So, conspiracy cats, yes, there's loads of evidence for flat earth. Your globe is based upon it. But yeah, it's good to see everybody. Glad you could make it. I see we got a few trolls in the house already.
Yes, we are.
What a shame.
No doubt.
What a shame.
Cindy Holland in the chat.
I see it. Yeah.
All right.
Is this live right now? Yeah.
Not unless Rogers would mind reader, and this was recorded 2 days ago, and you knew you were going to ask that.
Okay, I've told him we'll see you in 12 minutes.
All right.
So, cool. So we'll see what he says. And then we'll chat like that. And then, yeah, I don't know what we're really going to be debating about.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure that out myself.
But it was funny watching his video trying to call me out for a debate. It was very desperate, let's put it that way. He starts talking about parallax and stuff, even though we didn't talk about parallax at all. So that was really odd.
What does he know about parallax there?
Absolutely sweet bugger all. The guy doesn't even know what a horizontal line is.
Oh dear.
What? Oh, come on. See what I mean? Cats, you couldn't just be normal, could you? Why is Flatzoid flaking his breath?
Wait. I'm gonna do what's it, guys.
You couldn't just be normal, could you? Conspiracy cats for
What up
one
now?
day.
I still want to know how you come on screen and just exhale your breath when you don't just talk. Oh man, it's fine. Cats is harmless, guys.
Yeah.
Give him a ball of yarn.
I don't know about armless. I'd like him to be armless.
He
I'm only
makes a lot of
joking,
monsters.
I'm only joking, guys.
Yeah, I noticed that, Cindy, that he didn't have his sunglasses on until he got to the computer.
That's also really odd.
Yeah.
But there's a few things, like I said, we're gonna have to go through with this guy because I'm going to be placing everybody's footage together, timed up. and looking through, because there's some places where I see the clouds don't match from camera to camera at exactly the same times. Why does that happen? They're at the same place, the same time, with cameras placed at the same place. Why do clouds differ?
Oh, shut up, God. No way, I've seriously, I've literally zero sense of humor. Wow, because I said I'd rather you be harmless. I was actually taking the mick, you know what I mean? I wasn't even being serious about it. He just has to be so facetious, doesn't he? So condescending as well.
Yes, yes. So 10 minutes before the debate, guys. Wow. Michael,
Yeah,
can you see your breath?
all the time. It's freezing.
See, but I want to walk out now because it's freaking cold.
I can even
Yeah,
see
guys.
it inside.
I was thinking now, guys, because Jaren finally did what I've been calling and saying he's going to do for a long time. He finally used TFE as his out. And I was thinking, this whole contract nonsense that they've been putting up. Remember, they put that Jaren and Wizard get the last say on what's going to be shown and whatever. So don't you think it's just by chance, coincidence that Jaren all of a sudden went to the globe? Don't you think it's coincidence that Duffy said it's fine, you guys can have the final say? Just pointing it out.
Yeah, I get where you're going. That was pretty smooth.
Because remember, Jaren was part of the first mockumentary and played innocent there. Now he doesn't have that innocent card anymore. Now he plays it as I am the Glober and I am now out of the cult, blah 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 rubbish. And so he's playing as the guy who sort of escaped something. And his whole excuse for not being a flat earther now, guys, is everybody's mean to me.
Mommy?
I don't understand. Has anybody been different to him this whole 10 years?
Nope. Not at all.
Now all of a sudden he's crying like a baby? And since when does people's emotions dictate what the earth is?
Never had.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can believe that if you want to, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I saw something cool today. A video of Whitsett actually smoking. You know when he had that white jacket on when he was talking to Owen Benjamin that he claimed, but the tea and everything. You can see him sitting there with the smoke in his hand.
Yeah.
Wheeler Cooley says, I only know Flatzoid is because of Whitsett. Then you'll stab him in the back so you can speak to peace. How can you stab someone in the back that you've never really entertained?
Whitsett, how do I stab Whitsett in the back? Is that because I showed him lying and falsely accusing me of slandering?
The guy's literally put a knife on the floor and jumped on it.
Yeah. By the way, guys, Whitsett has literally excommunicated us, guys, because we are flat earthers and he's not a flat earther. Whitsett literally is what he quote unquote calls a true earther, whatever that's supposed to be. So
how long ago was that? A year ago? 2
years ago about.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole fact people actually think Whitsett and Jaren are true are flat earthers representing us at TFA is a joke in itself. There were no flat earthers there. Maybe Elizabeth. I don't know her, so I can't say anything. I do think it's a bit dodgy, though.
It is.
But I can't say anything against her because I don't know. But for Whitsett and Jaren, definitely we're not flat earthers. Still not flat earther, Whitsett. And it's nice to play what they're doing. I mean, they're literally doing what I said they're going to do. Jaren used TFE to get out. It's his out card. And Whitsett is playing, on the fence kind of thing. And he has to do that because he's keeping his enemies close. Simple as that.
It's a PR campaign from what I can see. For him, he thinks he's going to get all these interviews and get this fame. And
I'm just excited to see the mockumentary come out.
Only the Red says, if the sun is 93 million miles away, Why does it only shine on the Earth and not throughout space? And then Smokey said, on the red, it does shine throughout space. We're just not there to be able to see it. Dude. You'll never will be there, dude.
Good
Well,
God.
they claim you need the atmosphere to refract the light everywhere so you can see it. So space doesn't have atmosphere to refract it. So yeah. Yeah, LJ, I saw that with King Nico. That's interesting. Have you guys seen that? Because I don't know if you guys know the page IBM,
IMDb.
Yeah,
IMDb.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's mainly for actors,
yeah, it is.
Yep.
but there's a whole bunch of YouTubers also on there.
Actors,
Darren is
singers, yeah.
Yeah, Darren has an IMDb page. Witness has an IMDb page. FTFE has an IMDb page.
Weird.
Yeah. Probably Duffy too. You look.
Doesn't that seem a bit odd to you guys?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mr. Beast has an IMDb page. I don't know.
Has Peter Falk on there too, and a lot of other actors. You know.
Peter Falk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Columbo, man. What made you think of Columbo?
You brought him up the other day, and he's stuck in my head ever since.
Is it the glass eye I've got? Is that what it is?
I gotta put this. David John Rivington, which had started smoking after the trip. No, he actually smoked while he was in the trip. Got
Yeah.
video footage of it.
It probably broke loads of like UN embargoes or something regarding penguins.
But I find it odd though. If someone claims, listen, yeah, I don't smoke vape. I used to smoke vape, okay, but then I found an old vape, so I decided to vape. What?
I
Yeah.
could have vaped, but probably I did vape, but I didn't do it in front of the camera. I didn't vape. Yeah.
Which
I don't want to
which
promote
it
it, but he's literally just promoting it.
Which it said that he were trying to hide it because he didn't want to vape on camera because it's not a good look vaping on camera, while he was surrounded by 360 cameras.
Exactly.
I mean,
Brilliant, dude.
wow.
It's
Yeah,
very clear.
on that speaker's corner that you went on and I went on, Whistler went on there and he was vaping in the middle of that.
But
That's
I mean,
weird, dude.
even his own camera caught him. So, I mean, what
Hey,
a-
that guy was pretty nice that came on mine earlier. That
oh yeah, Xavier, brother
yeah.
Xavier. Very
I
nice.
couldn't
Yeah,
believe when he actually came in and says, "Yeah, I used to debate flat Earth and stuff like that." When he just came in off the random because of the Geno Jennings thing, it's mad, isn't it? So it's bigger than people actually think. That was just a random guy, not knowing that I was anything to do with flat Earth, come in and he used to debate flat Earth. He doesn't have much to do with it now, but he's kind of on the fence. But yeah, he used to debate flat Earth.
Okay. You guys gonna sit here or I don't know because it's
I'm
start.
gonna take off, mate.
Yeah, I'll just sit here, but have it on mute, but listen through YouTube anyway, because you'll be coming back here, won't you?
Yeah. I'll probably have an
yeah.
after show.
Yeah, so might as well just stay on mute, but listen through YouTube.
And then I will give my email out for everyone still in.
Remember, make it painful for him.
Just me being here is pain for him, man.
Right.
That's it.
Have a good one. Take care.
Just blessings, man. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna start going on with him, and yeah, you guys just hit yourself on mute, and then we'll take it from there. Remember to hit the like, share the show, and if you guys do have super chats, I will read them after the debate. Okay. So thanks again. You all rock. Please hit those likes, share the show. Join voice.
I got those ones I need.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, give me a second here. All right, Blue, I don't know if that'll work, but
all right, I'll get them done for you. Okay.
Okay, well, I muted that side. We'll see. We're just waiting for him now.
Alrighty.
So exciting.
And for the name, it can literally just be
the name, yeah.
the file name.
I got you.
Is it letting you do it?
It was letting me before. We'll see now. So
Okay.
I hope those guys aren't going to be in while we're debating,
I'm gonna start uploading.
because it's just supposed to be us, actually. But it's fine. I don't mind debating them all, wherever they are.
Why not?
Okay, explain.
Can I like shorten the name down to just to summarize it?
Wow, he's very
Nah, I did the
loud.
whole thing.
Is the sound okay, by the way, guys?
Is it working for you?
They're loud though. They are.
Yeah, why isn't
They
it-
Compared
are
to you.
very loud. I'm gonna put them a bit
Yep.
softer
That
wherever they are.
worked.
Why doesn't it make
Coming
any
around.
sense?
1 second.
Yeah, I see you just added.
Quarter by your butts. Sorry.
Was that a random soundboard thing?
Okay, let me just... I'm putting them soft because we don't need to hear them. We only need to hear Planet Peterson. You coming right?
Me? Oh, yeah. Flatzoid, how much time do you got? I wasn't really anticipating talking for like modern day debate things are like hours long. It's not going to be like that because there's not going to be like super chats and dumb stuff like that.
No, I usually only stream about 2 hours. So
Okay, yeah, well, I'm not where it. I don't think this is going to last 2 hours.
no, I don't think so either.
Mm-hmm.
The reason it won't last 2 hours is because I've muted it again, so you guys can talk so long.
All right, but you can just work on that. We'll see.
This is gonna be
Oh, really?
funny.
It is.
Okay, well, then.
But it's good to see 121 people in. Hit those likes, share the show.
So, Flatzoid, how are you doing?
Good, thanks, and yourself.
I'm doing just fine. Got some good news earlier today, so day's off to a good start.
That's good.
Okay. Thanks. So I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
You wanted to debate?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is the Earth flat?
Yeah, definitely. Measurably.
Holy moly. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, just stay muted. I wonder. Whatever. So Flatzoid, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, yeah, the Earth's measurably flat.
Okay. Can you substantiate that claim?
Yes. All cartography is based on surveying based on horizontal datums.
Go on.
That's the substation claim. It's measured flat.
I'm not sure exactly. I mean, can you elaborate a little bit further on that?
Okay. When you measure and make maps and distances, it's based upon a horizontal reference frame. It's a plane.
Like a tangent?
No, a horizontal plane. There's no tangent.
Well, you do know that tangents are a thing, right?
Yeah, tangents require a curve. A plane is not a curve.
Sure. So what kind of measurements are you talking about? Like land surveying?
Yep.
Or when you're looking at zenith angles for stars or what?
A zenith angle requires an elevation angle, which is based on horizontal.
Is that the case?
Yes.
Can you substantiate that?
Yes. What's an angle?
Go on. Go on.
Yeah, what's an angle?
Go on. Substantiate the claim.
A zenith angle is an elevation angle, which is based from the surface of Earth's horizontal.
Okay. So is the claim the Earth is flat just embedded as one of the assumptions in there? Are we begging the question, or like what are we doing?
There's no assumption. You asked me how is we know it's Earth is flat. I said it's measured flat. So I'm explaining to you all measurements require flat Earth. Even your globe is based off of flat Earth.
I don't agree with that at all because the angle that the North Star makes, for example, matches your latitude.
Latitude lines come from a horizontal based on the elevation angle.
No, because first of all, the predictive mathematical model for that fails like every single time you make a measurement, except for like the initial measurement you use to say this is where this is. But the globe math for that works every single time because the angle that the North Star makes from an observed point is the same thing as your latitude. And that is with the North Star, for example, being very, very, very far away. And so being like the lines coming to the surface of the Earth would be parallel. And the tangent line from wherever you are on your latitude, the angle between that and where the North Star is creates an angle that matches your latitude.
That's false. There's no tangent. You start off with a 90-degree angle.
So that's claim that it's false. What do you mean?
You start off with a 90-degree angle. That would be the GP of the star, which would be Polaris. And your distance from it determines its latitude. So if you are 600 nautical miles away, you will see Polaris at 80 degrees. If you're right underneath it, you'll see it at 90 degrees. So the further away you go, eventually when you get to the equator, you see Polaris at the horizon.
And why don't you see it if you go past the equator?
Because then it's too far to see. It has got to the angle, it's too limited because it has diffracted into the horizon.
Okay, so let me see here. There is a predictive model that you actually can do for this. So let me see here. Can you see this table here?
No. As I watch stream.
You can't see it.
Should I watch stream?
Yeah, because I'm sharing a screen
Okay,
here.
let me just check that. Yeah, I can see the table.
Okay, so do you see the percent error on the top versus the bottom?
Yeah.
So you see how the bottom one, the error just grows extraordinarily large, and the top, the errors are really small.
Mm-hmm. It's because of
So
perspective.
the bottom one is the flat Earth model.
No,
Yes,
it's
it is.
false.
No, I've done this before. This is in a book I wrote. I did exactly what you talked about there. Measured the angle of the North Star, and then you check those angle measurements in different places.
Okay, let's see if I can share my screen. I can't stream. How do I share my
Well,
screen?
before we do that, let's go over something. If the North Star, so if you have a triangle, we're making measurements, right? If you know two angles and the base, you can figure out the length of other sides. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, it's trigonometry. That's why it's flat Earth based.
Right. Well, it's not, because you can see that's what I did here. We're looking at the bottom table. See how the error says 0% for the first two?
Yeah.
Don't see shit, dude.
So you have to establish, you have to make an initial measurement to say, okay, what is that? In this case, we're doing height of the sun, right?
Height of the sun. Okay.
So I have, you can take the equator for a reference. In this one, it's based on the sun, not the North Star, but it works the same way. So you take the equator because we know the angle there. That'll be, it would be a 90-degree angle, right?
Yeah.
Actually, predicted angle is 0. I don't know why it says 0. I think that's supposed to say 90. So then, from a certain distance, we know the distance in miles across the surface of the Earth, and we know two angles. We know the right angle at the equator, and we know the angle we are observing. Are you with me so far?
Yes. Which all still
So that
require flat Earth.
establishes the height. Hold on. That establishes the height. Are you with me so far?
Yep.
Okay, so that's why the error is 0%. Now, if we know the height, we know that base angle, now no matter where we go, we can extrapolate now that we have the height and the base angle, which is that 90 degrees. Now for any distance, we can predict ahead of time what the angle is, and look at what happens with the percent error. It grows larger and larger and larger and larger.
Can you show?
So the flat Earth math doesn't match reality.
That's false.
The globe math does match reality. So do you see how it says 95% error?
Okay, first of all, just because you're putting error there doesn't make it error. Can you quickly share this? The
It is an
JPEG?
error because
Can you please put
I did the math.
Can you? Well, I also
the
did math.
predicted angle is 20 degrees. The actual angle is 39 degrees.
Okay, I also put math. Can you quickly share that JPEG I put in the chat?
What? Well, everybody can see it. What about it?
No, put up for your people on your audience, so everybody can see what I'm explaining.
Everybody, this is not being live streamed or anything. Everybody can see it.
Oh, so when you're going to show it on your stream, on your video for your audience, they're not going to see what I'm showing then. Don't you think that's a bit unfair because you're showing yours?
No, they can see it because I'm looking at it right now, and it's in that's it's not being live streamed, but it's being recorded. Everybody in the future will be able to see it, and
on your
everybody
channel as
present
well.
can see it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So do you see that 90 degrees? Do you know what that 90 degrees stands for?
A 90-degree angle? I don't know. I've never
Great,
seen
just
this
like you
figure
said.
before.
Yeah. So what happens is Polaris is that 90 degree. If you stand 0 nautical miles, you are directly under 90. So that's the zenith angle. That's Polaris. Okay? So that's the geographical position for Polaris. Every 600 nautical miles you go away, that is what the latitude's based upon. So it's the 90 degree minus the measured angle, because it's a measured angle. You can literally see it and measure it at 80 degrees or whatever. Okay? And then you take what's remaining and you times by 60, and that gives you your distance. This is all flat Earth based, and it gives you perfect latitude and distance measurements.
Okay, what's going on with this? Whoa, what the heck? Why is this thing frozen? Done. Okay, why is it being all weird? Okay, there we go. Can you see this picture where I'm doing the screen sharing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you agree that this is what I was going over earlier?
Is that the sun or the star?
That's the sun in this case.
Okay.
So we have the equator, and then we have that first, that position. It's not showing my cursor, but we have that first position there, and that's where we establish the base and the two known angles. So now we can figure out the height of the sun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now as we go further and farther out, those angles that the sun, the angle that the observation makes looking at the sun with respect toward the ground needs to be a certain value, right?
Yeah, 600 nautical miles in between. Just like I said, for latitudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, except the problem is every single time you do that, the errors compound.
It's called perspective.
Go on.
You have parallax, you have perspective, you have things playing into it, and that's why you see it. Even based on your globe, did you take refraction into account with any of these measurements?
I didn't need to, because look at how tiny the errors are. Less than 1%.
Yeah, but that's my whole point is the measurements,
one model is based on this, that incoming light, when it hits the ground, you can have angles on a curved surface. Do you see this picture that I'm sharing?
Not elevation angle.
So you can have angles with the surface on here, right?
Yeah, but the elevation angle requires the surface to be horizontal.
It doesn't require the surface to be horizontal at all. You can have an imaginary line, like a tangent on there, because that incoming light or information, whatever, strikes the ground, and it creates an angle with the ground no matter what shape the ground is. But the deal is we're dealing with literally a point. So a point has no angle because it has no base. So we create that, like I drew the line that distance. I could have drawn it 1 nanometer wide if I wanted to. That would still create an angle. You just can't see it in this case. This is just a reality with curved surfaces and lines that intersect them. You can create angles with this. So we don't assume a flat surface. You just create an angle by having, a base with that line coming in.
Okay. First of all, why are you making the sun's rays parallel?
Because they are, and we know that they are.
No. Is the sun a sphere, or is the sun a concentrated
Is
light?
the sun 93 million miles away, and
No.
is the cross-surface section area of the Earth with the sun extraordinarily small compared to the surface area of the sun? And is the distance from the sun to the Earth so vast that those angles don't spread out? And so we have parallel, like they're not literally parallel, but the angle is like the difference is 0.000 something.
No, the fact is the sun is not 93 million miles away. You're just assuming it's
That's
93
a
million
claim.
miles. That's a claim. And
That's a claim.
that's not
Substantiate that claim, please.
It's your claim that it's 93 million miles away, not mine.
No, I don't. No.
You just said
You're
it's
the one-
93 million
I'm not-
miles away. Didn't you?
No, look, it could be 93 million miles away. That's just what I believe.
So then that's your claim. How's that my claim then?
Well, you're the one that claimed that it's not 93 million miles away. I would like to
You
know
haven't
how
shown
know
it to be 93 million miles away. So how can it be my claim when you're the one that just
It's-
said it's 93 million miles away?
Look, I'm just telling you what I believe. It
So
could
then it's
be
your
this
claim.
way.
So then it's your claim.
Okay. Do you claim that it's not 93 million miles away?
I don't observe parallel sun rays.
Have you ever tried to?
Yes. Can you show me parallel sun rays?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'd have to pull up some sort of video. So do you guys still cling to the crepuscular ray thing, even though we know that that's not the case?
What crepuscular ray thing you're talking about?
Do you know what crepuscular rays
Yes,
are?
I do. I'm asking you what's the argument? There's many arguments about it. So which one are you specific to?
Just crepuscular rays in general.
Yeah, but
They look like they're not parallel, but they are.
they're not parallel. It's called perspective. It's like when you look out at a railway road, you're looking towards the railway road, okay? It's appearing to converge. It doesn't actually converge. The same when you look at the sun. The sun's rays are actual. So it's literally diverging towards you. It's not converging towards the sun. It's an actual divergence. There's a difference between looking towards an object and an object having its rays come towards you.
I'm aware of that.
Mm-hmm. One is physically diverging, and the other one is optically converging.
So your claim is that the sun's rays do in fact diverge significantly?
Yes, it's observed.
Yeah, it's observed, but you observe train tracks diverging, but they don't
No,
really.
you don't observe train tracks diverging. You observe them
Yes,
converging.
you do. That is what they look like.
No,
That is what you observe.
You observe them converging. That's called perspective.
If you take the perspective of from the horizon toward you, then they diverge.
No,
like what
perspective is
crepuscular rays do.
always from the observer outwards, not from away to the observer. That's not perspective.
It literally is, but it doesn't really matter. So
No, it is. You're just saying no is not a rebuttal. Perspective is from the observer outwards. It's never from outwards to the observer.
You can make it relative to whatever you want. So this is also not an important point because diverge or converge, either way, it's the same. So
No, it's not the same.
We do observe train tracks appear to converge.
Yeah.
You agree?
Which is an optical
they're not.
illusion. No, they are parallel.
Sun ray. Yep. We observe sun rays appear to converge.
No, we
Now,
don't. We don't appear them to converge. We literally see them diverge from the sun outwards. That's got nothing to do with perspective.
Why are you switching the perspective? Now you're saying that it's diverging instead of converging.
They're
We
not
observe the
converging.
sun. It's from the observer.
They don't
literally
converge.
Contradicting.
They
your own
don't.
argument here.
No. The sun doesn't
It's
converge.
from the observer.
No, does the light come from the observer or the sun?
The observer observes. So you said it's from the perspective of the observer. I'm observing. The sun is not observing. At least as far as I know, the sun doesn't observe me. So again, this isn't super important. It's just really funny that you made that gaffe. So anyways.
It's not a gaffe. You're just saying nuh-uh.
I'm not saying nuh-uh. I actually explained pretty clearly what your problem there was. So we do observe light rays appear to converge the same way we observe railroad
we never
tracks
observe
appear to
convergence.
converge.
We never observe convergence of railroad. There, it's diverging. You can literally see it diverging. What are you talking about converging?
Why are you I don't understand how you're not tracking this. When I said train tracks appear to diverge, you said no. They appear to converge. That's what you said.
The difference is the sun's light is physically coming towards you. Okay? The railway track, you are looking out towards it. Do you understand the difference?
There's no problem with saying the train tracks are coming toward you in either case. Like, you're just I don't know what you're doing. So we'll.
It's called perspective. The point is you don't understand what perspective is.
No, you don't have the slightest clue what.
I literally studied art. I majored in art.
What you're talking about, but you keep flipping things.
I'm not flipping anything. Is the sun's sun's light physically coming from?
The world will see how you did.
Is the sun physically coming? Is the sunlight physically coming from the sun?
Yes.
Is it diverging physically from the sun?
It does do that because the sun is a sphere, but from where we are, the light rays that happen to hit us come toward us so close to parallel that there's no problem.
No, that's again your claim.
Them as parallel.
That's again your claim. So you just agreed with me. Yes, the sun is a sphere. Wait. No. You just agreed with me. The sun's a sphere. Wait. You agreed with me. The sun's a sphere. You said, agreed with me again. The sphere that it is lets the rays physically diverge outwards, and we observe it diverging.
No, it looks that way, just like train tracks look that way. In reality, train tracks don't do that. Now, your claim is that in reality, the sunlight rays that strike the Earth are doing that. So, can you see this video that's being played right now?
Yes.
Okay, do you see those shadows? What are they doing?
They are diverging because of your perspective. Do you know if you lift up, it's going to be parallel again?
Oh, so they're not actually parallel. So you don't have evidence. So I here
quickly pause it. Quickly pause it.
I'm just gonna let it play.
Wait, pause it quickly.
What we have here is
using my tunes footage, which literally shows a curved fence, is not helping you, man. That's the only reason why you see it the way you do. It's a curved fence. Is the fence curved or not, or is it straight fence?
You're gonna just have to wait your turn, Flatzoid. We have shadows that appear to diverge, converge. It doesn't matter. You can say it either way. But in reality, they don't. So I've demonstrated the phenomenon matches the train track phenomenon. You don't have any observations of the light rays or any like solid evidence that I'm aware of the light rays actually being divergent, convergent, however you want to say that.
Again, he used a curved wall with poles not
This is a curved wall. This parking lot is a curved wall.
Can you see the shadows come from a different, how can I put it, position?
The streetlights are in different places on the ground. Yeah, that's true. What are you saying?
And is the sun source far away?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you get the same effect with a divergent light source?
The sun is a divergent light source, but
great. So my point exactly. It's not physically parallel. So in other words, the light is physically diverging, so it's not perspective based when you are looking directly at the sun. So when you say light rays come in parallel, that is literally just based on ignorance and assuming because you want the sun to be 93 million miles away. If you put the sun closer, you get exactly the same angle readings. And again, the angles require a flat The angles require elevation angle and zenith, which means the Earth is flat.
That's a claim. Could you back that claim up? You said you get the exact same angles if you assume with a flat Earth?
Yes.
A flat Earth model or something like that?
If you put the sun closer with divergent rays, you get exactly the same angle readings.
What were the angle readings?
I gave it to you on screen. Remember the
No,
90?
we're talking about
the 60
crepuscular rays, Flatzoid. Why are you changing the subject?
No, crepuscular rays come from behind the horizon.
They come, the rays come from the sun. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Behind the horizon.
So behind the horizon is a weird way to put it. My kitty cat won't leave me alone. So why did you change the subject to zenith angles when we were talking about...
You spoke about zenith angles. You brought zenith angles up.
Yeah, at first I brought them up. And
so
then
how did I change
remember
the subject? It's still on the same...
crepuscular rays.
Zenith angles
So
require...
with respect, yeah, so anyways, with respect to crepuscular rays, we have a demonstration that the appearance of convergence or divergence is really just a matter of... like all you've done is demonstrated that perspective makes it look one way, but the evidence I've shown demonstrates that actually, like the those shadows actually are parallel.
No, they're not. You can
They're
get
not?
the
How do
exact...
you know that?
Because you can do exactly the same demonstration with a divergent sun ray. Like you said, you literally said it's diverging sun rays. You can get exactly the same effect with a divergent light source. It's based on...
Yeah, but we've been over this.
It's
With
based
the
on
sun being
position.
as far away as it is, and the cross-sectional area.
You
of
still
the
haven't
Earth being
proven this.
so microscopic.
You haven't
with
shown the
respect
sun.
to-
You haven't shown the sun to be 93 million miles away. Why you keep diverging back to
How far
it being-
away? Well, I have demonstrated that the sun can't be where you say it is.
No, you haven't.
Because all of the predictive models for that fail. Would you like to see them again? What
I
is
showed you
error
the
rate on
math.
bottom?
I showed you.
95%.
I showed you the math on a flat Earth. You even when you taking your angles for your globe require a flat Earth. You spoke about zenith angles and elevation angles, which
Literally
means it's
false.
flat.
This is what the model is based on. This model.
Do you have a radius
of
value?
This model coming in, where we create an angle with a tangent on the curved surface,
There's no tangent.
produces error rates between 0 and 1%.
How do you-
Model the whole thing about the sun being here. We established the height of the sun, which means with this base, we'll now have two known angles. Well, actually, we're predicting the angle. So with the known height and a known angle and a known base, we can determine the angle. The problem is that produces errors of up to, we get close to 100%. A model, if you subscribe to the idea of truth is that which corresponds to reality, your model doesn't correspond to reality. It can't make predictions, which is why you guys say, well, actually, we don't have a model.
You guys don't have a model
Because
either.
you know that your model can't explain anything.
You don't have a model either. So again, I'm going to ask
Yes,
you.
I do. And my model makes predictions with only a 1% error, and your model makes predictions with a 95%.
I had no percent error. I just showed you my math. There was no percent error. So that was total bullshit.
You didn't show me your math. You just showed that figure.
That was math, was it not? 90 minus 90. If I gave math, that's math. So now it's not math because you say nah.
You can manipulate numbers to do whatever you want.
I agree.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, you can manipulate numbers to do whatever you want. That doesn't make it reality. Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you claiming error rates to 93 million miles sunray, you haven't proven that it's not.
Doesn't really establish that it is a reflection of reality.
I agree. So not 93 million miles away because you say so because math. I agree. Now I'm going to ask you.
No,
you claimed a tangent.
So, but yes, because of math, because the math checks out.
So you claimed a tangent.
This model right here, Flatzoid, please stop talking. This descriptive model right here produces errors of less than 1% or up to 1%. Your model produces errors up to 90%.
What model? I thought I had no model.
One model has a correspondence with reality, a high correspondence with reality. One model has an abominably low correspondence with reality.
Okay, again, I thought you said I had no model. So how do you put error rates on something that doesn't exist?
No, it's your claim that you have no model.
No, you just
There-
so
you
so.
actually
In other
can.
words,
You
you
can-
are straw
can
manning me.
Go
Then.
on the working assumption that the Earth is flat and do this. You never disagreed with any part of this, but then when we see that the errors are so large, you just say, "Yeah, well, we never actually said it works that way." So
No, I never said that.
Yes, you didn't say
No,
those
no.
exact words. Verbatim fallacy. Congratulations.
No. The thing is, you're claiming a tangent. Okay, for a tangent, you require to have a radius. How did you get that radius value?
Of the radius of the Earth.
Yeah, you claim a tangent, so that means you need a curve. That means you need a radius value.
I know that you are aware of the Eratosthenes experiments. So, and those have been replicated in the modern day. So I don't really know what
The Eratosthenes experiment uses a flat Earth, just like I just told you. It's literally
literally
a
doesn't.
closer local sun with divergent rays gives exactly the same angle measurement. Again, requires a flat.
Because
this
take a look at this table here, where the error rate goes up to 95%. It literally.
Oh my word! You only have that error rate. What distance are you putting the sun on the flat Earth model, as you call it?
That is established by taking the measurements. You agreed that that's how it works.
What distance
If we
are you
have a
placing
known
the sun?
base and two known angles, we can establish h, which is the height. Then what you do with that is you say, okay, if I was in another place, the Eratosthenes experiment doesn't actually like prove that the Earth is like by itself. Taking that one measurement doesn't prove anything. You have to take multiple measurements. So you agreed with every part of this. Two known angles and a known base will establish the height. Now what we do is we plug in height, known base, and a different known base angle, and a known base length, and that informs us what the angle will be. That is an Eratosthenes experiment. And you can do it with the sun. In fact, that is what I did. In fact, that actually is what is being done right here. And the errors go up to 95%.
Okay, I'm going to have to correct you on a few things. First of all, it's non-experiment. It's not scientific. Eratosthenes used a flat Earth. It gives exactly the same measurements if you just take a closer sun. If you take a closer sun with... Now you're talking over me. When you take a closer sun with diverging rays. So you just claiming that Eratosthenes had a sphere to take a tangent reading. I don't give a shit about Eratosthenes, okay? Because you're claiming a tangent, you require a radius. How did you get that radius value?
For the Earth?
No, for my boot. Of course, the Earth.
Yeah, so you take those measurements, and then what he did was the distances he was apart. You divide by the fraction that distance would be in degrees of a circle, and then that gives you what the circumference is. But again, that just assumes that it in the spirit of how science works, you go off of like working assumptions, and then yes, it is.
That's
in
not
science.
science.
We make assumptions. They're called hypotheses, and then you test them.
Okay.
If you don't know that,
do you know the
anything.
scientific hypothesis? Wait, do you know the scientific hypothesis for Eratosthenes?
Do I know the scientific hypothesis for Eratosthenes?
Yeah, you claimed it to be an experiment.
That's your question.
You claimed it
That's
to be an
your question?
experiment, so it needs to have a hypothesis.
Look, you're just asking me to just pull off the top of my head what it would be. This is like, I've debated flat earthers and they say, oh, can you put that in a logical syllogism? It's basically become a meme at this point. I could sit here and think it through off the top of my head, but we'd just be sitting here in silence. We know.
Okay, let's try it another way. Can you tell me what the scientific method is?
Sorry,
would you tell me what the scientific method is then?
In general, the way the scientific method works is you have some sort of phenomena that you want to explain. Do we agree so far?
You observe a natural phenomena, step one.
Well, no, you have some sort of phenomena that you want to explain.
Yes, you observe it. You first observe it. Yes, that's the step one.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, I guess. Then what you do is you make additional observations to try to inform you about what's going on with that particular observation.
Research.
Do we agree?
Yeah, research is part of observation.
Cool. You want to call it research? I just call it making farther observations. Then what you do is you come up with a tentative explanation for what's going on. Do we agree so far?
Yeah, it's part of the hypothesis.
Okay, that tentative explanation needs to be testable, or it just doesn't really count as anything that's scientific, right?
Yep, and you would agree that that hypothesis has prediction.
Yeah, such as if we assume this model, then we should be able to predict what the angle of that light coming in, striking the surface is, and we find errors of less than or like up to only 1%. With the other one, we get errors up to 95%.
Okay, so I want to ask you, what is the IV and the DV for the hypothesis that you just quoted?
The independent variable and the dependent variable?
Yeah.
The dependent variable depends on the independent variable. So the dependent variable would be the observed angle, and the independent variable would be the changing in your distance. We could just say latitude, or we could say distance from equator in miles. That would work too.
Okay, so in other words, cause for
You're
angle
hoping I
change.
didn't know the answer.
No,
to
no.
that?
So cause for change.
So you could say
cause.
you
Wait,
don't know
wait,
the
no.
scientific method.
No. I'm showing you that it's literally not the cause for what you want. You're claiming the sun to be 93 million miles away, so you have to have the cause for that. You are claiming cause for angle change. Cause for angle change. Cause for angle change is location. That's what you just said.
The cause for the angle change is location?
Yeah, that was your IV, location. Distance, changing distance,
yeah,
which is
ground
location
distance,
change.
yeah.
So,
yeah, all of that.
So ground distance causes
and you can use that to establish that the local sun claim is false, because the errors are, keep saying the same thing over and over again, the errors go up to 95%.
Okay, again, your errors reading is literally just making shit up, because there is no error reading when you literally take the sun and move it closer with diverging rays. I don't know how to explain this other than saying...
The sun magically is closer to the Earth when you make different measurements after you make your initial measurement.
Remember when I just showed you that graph? Remember when I showed you that graph with Polaris? You can observe it at different latitudes at different angles, correct?
Yes. For example, you can't see it in the southern hemisphere,
Great.
Which makes 0 sense if the Earth is flat.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Now, let's for instance say you see light poles and you see them converging towards the horizon. Are they physically converging towards the horizon?
No, they simply appear to. We went over that with the drone.
Great.
footage.
So if I measure a light pole at, let's say, 20 degrees and a one that's closer at 40 degrees, is that one at 20 degrees lower to the ground physically?
I don't know what you just said, but I think what you just said is, I remember doing this in high school. We would go out and measure how tall telephone poles are by taking base, the 90-degree angle that the telephone pole makes with the ground. We would step a known distance away, and then we would observe it with an angle from the ground. That's the kind of thing you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
you did trigonometry, which requires a flat Earth. I agree.
And if you take that initial calculation, and then you go, okay, well, it made a 45 degree angle is really easy. We're 50 feet away from the pole, and the tip of the pole makes a 45 degree angle with the ground. Therefore, the pole is 45 feet high. That's how 45 degree angles work. Now, what you can do with that is say, okay, if I double my distance or whatever, based on, we know the height of the telephone pole now, or we assume we know it, and I'm now going to know, I know that base angle 90 degrees, and I know what my distance is going to be. Now I can predict what that angle will be. I don't know if the angle will be half, or if it'll be, I don't think it'll be half. No, double, you just, no. But anyways, then you measure it again, right? We agree that's like how you would do that?
Yeah, and you're still making my point that
and
you
when you
require
do that
flat
on
Earth.
the flat Earth, you get errors that go up to 95%. This doesn't happen when you measure telephone poles.
Again,
not until you get
remember when I was trying
to, the angles are going to be microscopic.
No, but that's because parallax. Remember what I was trying to explain to you with the light poles? They aren't physically a different height. They only appear to be a different height because of perspective. So when you are making those,
with anything?
So when you're making those measurements,
telephone poles are the same telephone pole.
So when you make the measurements,
Flatzoid, are you talking about different
obviously
telephone
different
poles or the
telephone
same
poles.
telephone
When I say poles, it's
Sorry?
plural, not singular.
Okay, well, this is completely stupid and inappropriate because we don't measure multiple suns, we measure one sun.
Okay, then let's do it
So
this way.
where are you going with telephone poles exist and telephone poles are different heights?
Okay, we can do this.
This is so completely irrelevant.
No, it's not. It's making my point. So it's the same
It's
as this the
completely
sun.
irrelevant
It's
because
exactly the
we have
same.
one sun, and so the fact that telephone poles are different heights and measured at different angles, that is so completely irrelevant.
Okay, we'll take one telephone pole and we'll move it. We won't even move this telephone pole. We'll even move us away from the telephone pole. Will that measured angle change?
Yeah, it's easier to do, yeah.
Will that measured angle change?
Yeah. Yeah, just like this thing I'm showing you here, if we pretend instead of the sun, it's a telephone
So
pole,
does that pole
the
physically...
angle will change, and
Okay,
we
can I
can
finish
calculate
talking?
ahead of time what the angle will be
Let-
because the height of the telephone pole doesn't change. Those experiments yield consistent results.
Are you able
But
to...
when you apply exactly the logic you're talking about to flat Earth, we get errors of 95%.
It's
for the
exactly
zillionth
the same
time.
thing. They're not physically dropping in
No.
height. You are just measuring an apparent altitude angle. That elevation angle you're measuring requires a horizontal base. And you made a triangle from you, the observer, away from that observation. Okay? It's not a curved surface to get
Literally,
that observation.
kids in high school learn that you can...
Trigonometry means triangle.
This isn't really trigonometry, but...
Sakatoa is not trigonometry.
This right here, I never heard of tangent intersections with curved surfaces until I took Calc 1 in college. So you could maybe call, like the fact that this makes an angle, you can call that trigonometry, but it's just, there are principles of trigonometry embedded within other fields of science. So like you can call this trigonometry and I don't really care.
I'm not saying
But
that's trigonometry.
your
I'm
talking
saying...
point that you can only assume the Earth is a sphere if you assume that the Earth is flat, or you can only make measurements if you assume that it's flat, is just literally false. But I don't really care because, and we've been over this so many times that we have to change the subject. You can make measurements assuming the Earth is flat, and those measurements don't correspond to reality.
They do.
You're
You're just saying
to say herder, but things can happen. It's like, okay.
Is the sun an actual position or an apparent position?
An actual position.
The sun at an actual position, so there's no refraction.
It exists in space. It is in a place, yeah.
No, space doesn't exist, man.
Space can refer to just three-dimensional space. So whether or not we mean outer space or whether or not we mean above the surface of the Earth inside of a dome, it's the same thing. The sun exists in a place. Do you not agree that the sun exists in a discrete location?
Yeah, and which has an apparent position, which is always observable.
Okay, and?
And that means the sun is moving across a plane to give its measurements. Those apparent positions...
That working assumption gives you errors of 95%.
No, it doesn't. The apparent position...
The other one does not. Yes, it literally does, because these are the actual predicted angles. And these are the predicted angles. These are the actual angles.
Does the sun stay at exactly the same altitude of observation throughout the day?
So that's completely...
Does the sun stay at exactly the same altitude when you observe it? Or does it look to converge into the horizon?
You're conflating two completely different things.
No. You are trying to throw away observation.
Do the train tracks actually get closer together, or do they appear to get closer together?
That's my point.
They do appear to get closer together, but you don't get to you don't get to say therefore they actually are getting closer together.
Exactly.
And the sun, when you are in different places on the surface of the Earth, is at different angles. But so what? We've established that when you try to do working assumptions, what the heck?
So let me put it this way. Let's say you go to a location and you measure the sun at 50 degrees. Now you wait to go to another location. You measure the sun again at 50 degrees and wait again, go to another location again at 50 degrees. Does that mean the sun stayed the same height above the surface, or did it change height according to someone who observed it the first time at 50 degrees?
That was pretty confusing, not gonna lie.
Okay.
Different people on different places on Earth measure the sun at 50 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So did the sun go up and down, or does it appear to like throughout different times of the year? For what I would say is because Earth's tilt gives us different perspectives. You would say because the sun is just in the circle the sun makes above the Earth changes for reasons that nobody's ever even tried to explain. It will change throughout the year, but these observations are made on the same day of the year. That's a really important controlled variable in the test or whatever we want to call this.
Okay. The thing is, you keep defaulting back to originally assuming there's a radius, you're assuming there's an Earth tilt, you're assuming there's space or whatever. You haven't provided any evidence that there is any of these things, and then you're trying to
you deny that Eratosthenes experiments.
It's not an experiment. We went through it.
Results.
It's not science. There is no science, and you used trigonometry, which requires the baseline to be flat. You haven't given a tangent.
Literally false, and I'm not going over how it's false for a 10th time. People that watch this and know how to think will just...
Yes, everybody's watching this, and they're literally calling you a dumbass.
Who?
Yes, 250 people in my live chat right now watching you and thinking, what's going on with this
guy? Idiots? Okay. So what do you want to talk about next? Because we've been doing angles for so long.
Yeah, angles is not getting anywhere because you simply don't understand. You can't have the angle because you require flat Earth. So how about science? Because you clearly don't. You got some sort of science, but you don't understand that science requires an actual manipulation of the IV, which you clearly don't understand how that works.
Go ahead and explain it.
So have you got any science for your globe?
Yeah, we've been spending the past like 45 minutes going over it.
No, Aristotle's is not science. I explained to you.
Isn't a rebuttal. So
location is not location is not cause of sun.
Location is not cause of sun.
It's not cause of your Earth being a sphere either.
What was the independent variable again?
Location, distance.
Yeah, and that's what we're changing.
Yeah, to get
so
what? To get an angle.
The independent variable.
To get an angle.
We're not trying to manipulate the sun. Nobody ever claimed that you manipulate the sun in these.
Your whole argument is, I know it's a sphere because angles change because I changed my distance.
The working assumption, the hypothesis of the spherical model yields a results consistent with a truth is that which corresponds to reality type of worldview. Errors of less than 1% or around at a maximum of around 1%. That is the justification.
And were those, how can I put it? Were those assumptions based on already having a radius value and a sun at 93 million miles away?
If it were false, then the observations would give inconsistent, erroneous results, like yours does. If I assume every time I scratch my butt, it rains, and it never happens, then I have a false model.
You do have a false model because you already
because
you already had a radius value
of less than 1%.
Again, your radius value. Okay, how did you get your radius value?
For the size of the Earth.
That's what your radius value is.
You measure those angles in different places, and then you take the distance that they are, or the angle it creates, and divide that angle by the number of times that angle goes into 360 degrees, and that informs you about the circumference.
That's
just your initial data point. You need to replicate that in other places, and if that data, because that data is going to predict what the angles you're going to see in other places are as well. And we've seen that's not the exact same type of test that the stuff I've been sharing with you is, but it does the exact same kind of predictive thing, and it yields those exact same kind of results. kids literally around the world in high school repeat Eratosthenes experiments, and they work with kids that live in other places, like in the country, like a pen pal type of thing. And they come together and they say, hey, we got this measurement, so you guys should get this measurement. Oh, we did. Like, if you're going to deny that Eratosthenes experiments have been replicated, then, I mean, we just can't talk about
I never
this
said it wasn't
topic
replicated.
because you're just not eyeing the explanation.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you, it's not scientific. It doesn't prove a globe.
It's literally scientific.
No, there's no
It's a
science
test.
involved. Shape is not scientific. You are affirming you're affirming the consequent based on angle changes because of location. And you're thinking it's physically happening because you are assuming the sun is 93 million miles away to give it parallel sun rays. You're literally
If it
affirming the
wasn't,
consequence.
then the predictions would fall apart. But
No,
they
it doesn't.
don't
You get
fall
exactly
apart.
the same
Your
observation with
predictions fall apart.
you get exactly the same readings, exactly the same with a local divergent sun ray.
You literally don't.
You
because the
literally
errors
do.
go up
People
to
do
95%.
demonstrations showing this. You can literally do the demonstration yourself if you want to. Take a piece of paper, take a light source, and do some matchsticks on. Take the sun far away, make sure it's parallel. You'll get the same. Put it closer with the divergence, you'll get the same angle measurements. All of them, the only thing they have in common is they both used a flat baseline. You literally needed a flat earth to make this measurement. You, on the other hand, are trying to affirm the constant by saying, I got a tangent to do this. And then you had to go further and affirm it even more by saying, this means radius. You can't just say, I got a tangent if you haven't got a radius yet. You first need the radius proven to make a claim of a tangent. Everything you're doing is already begging the question, then affirming the consequent. That's it. There is no science there.
So affirming the consequent is if P then Q, Q therefore P. So establish P and Q and tell me exactly when I said if, or where I said Q therefore P.
Okay. If I move away, I see angle change, therefore globe.
Where's Q? Where's P? Where did I do that's
I
also
assume
it's
globe.
such an incredible straw man
let's put it away.
of the models we've been talking about.
No, it's literally I assume globe. So when I move location, the angles change, therefore globe. That's literally your fallacy.
That's really the best you can do. Like
That's not the best I can. This is
you're not labeling
2015 argument.
anything.
This is how dumb your argument is. I literally have to make it sound as dumb as possible to like a child can understand.
No, I
Because
think
that's your
a
argument.
reflection of your cognitive load. So,
dude, you don't understand science. You don't understand how you're affirming the consequence. You haven't given me any evidence for anything. You're just making a claim, saying the sun is 93 million miles away, saying that you don't need a flat earth to do a measurement, which you literally said your baseline has to be flat. You're just saying you have a tangent. You're saying you have a radius value. I'm not the one here not understanding what's going on.
well, I'm glad to see there's still irony in the world. What do you want to talk about next, other than angles? Because we've been talking about it for an hour. So
how about entropy?
You can claim victory on it. I don't care, but let's change this.
How about entropy?
What about it?
How do you have a space vacuum?
How?
Yeah.
What's the problem with a space vacuum?
It violates the second law of thermodynamics.
In what way?
The Earth is a separate system, and it's adjacent to the space vacuum with a very low pressure, and therefore entropy will increase, and the air we breathe will fill the available volume. We will not have air to breathe as we speak.
Because
of entropy. Entropy increase.
That's not an explanation. You're just saying, you're just slapping a word.
Always high pressure to low pressure.
Explain why the atmosphere high pressure to low pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So gas pressure requires a container.
Yes.
Do you know what a false dichotomy is?
Yes.
Are you aware that you're making one?
How?
Is this your argument for the Earth being flat?
No, you just asked you want to go on to something else. I'm talking fine. Your
Yeah,
globe.
is this your argument?
You haven't
for the
asked. I
Earth
just
being
asked you,
flat?
how's it a false dichotomy? You haven't answered me.
Yeah, we're getting there. Is this your argument that the Earth is flat?
It shows it's not a globe.
Really?
Yeah.
That's quite the false dichotomy you have there.
How?
So, gas pressure requires a container, therefore Earth is flat.
No, gas pressure requires a container. Therefore, your claim that you have a space vacuum is shown false. Not that therefore the Earth is flat. Thanks for trying to twist my words.
Maybe there is no space vacuum. Maybe there's not a dome over the Earth, but maybe the Earth is a sphere and there's something completely encapsulating it.
I agree. So no
Okay, so
astronauts.
false dichotomy.
So no,
Like,
no,
when
no. So
when
no.
you did the Will Duffy thing, you said, "Oh, 24-hour sun, therefore globe." False dichotomy. You're unironically.
But that was
doing
his claim.
exactly that right
But
now.
that was his claim, was it not?
Huh?
That was specifically Duffy's claim, though. Now
Well, the
you
point of that,
now you're
I don't
straw
wanna get into
manning
the final
me,
experiment.
and you're setting red
Literally,
herrings
no.
my way.
The point of that was you guys said for years
You
that the
guys.
24-hour sun is incompatible with flat Earth.
I never said
Then
that.
what you did was you said, "Oh no, I just changed my mind and said, look, I don't think there's going to be a 24-hour sun, but if they see one, then that's just how it works on a flat Earth."
Yeah.
So anyways,
But how's
what
that?
about the
Where
vacuum? The problem with the
have I?
vacuum is you can't have a high pressure and a low pressure system next to each other.
I love how you're trying to chop and change everywhere. Okay, so yeah,
No,
let's
I'm
get
going
back to
the
entropy.
original topic.
Let's get back to entropy. So, do you claim that you have astronauts and satellites in space?
Yeah, we know that. There's like literally video footage of it. You can look up where the International Space Station is going to be ahead of time and look through it through a telescope, or a P1000 could probably zoom it in too. So anyways, your claim is that you can't have high pressure and low pressure systems next to each other?
That's what the second law of entropy says. That's a law of nature. It's not what I say. It's what
Is
the
the
law of
air
nature
thinner
says.
above us?
Same system.
Is the air thinner above us?
In the same system, yes.
Is the air thinner above us?
Yes, in the same system.
Okay, so I think you know where this is going, which is why
Pressure
it's being
gradients
so
comes.
defined.
Pressure gradients comes
If I have
after.
a soda can, sitting
Mhm.
here on my table, is that part of the atmospheric system as well?
No, it's a separate system.
When I open it, do they become part of the same system?
It comes open, yes.
What happens to the gas?
Escapes into the surrounding system.
So it rushes to where the pressure is lower?
Yeah, because you've opened it to the surrounding
Great.
system.
Is the air, yeah, great. Is the air at lower pressure above us?
It's a separate system. You
I'm
talking
sorry,
about?
is
Wait,
the
no, no.
air at
You just
lower
debunked
pressure
yourself.
above us?
Wait. Do you
I
understand,
literally didn't.
dude? Is the
air
can?
at
Whoa.
lower
Is the can when it's closed a separate system to Earth?
That's the point. The point becomes
Just
relevant
answer me.
when it
Is
gets opened.
the tin can a separate
Flatzoid,
system
this has
to
nothing
Earth?
to do with the point
It
you're
has
making.
everything to do it. You even brought it up. So don't say it's got nothing.
relevant.
Is it separate or not?
It
That's all I'm
only
asking.
becomes relevant when the can is opened.
No, it isn't. It's relevant when it's closed too, because entropy is not increasing. Why? Because the system is closed. As soon as you open the system, what happens? High pressure seeks equilibrium, goes to low pressure. This is what's supposed to happen with the Earth, because Earth is a separate system to space. And because it's open, the air we breathe should all rush into space. Pressure gradients,
Why?
which you're trying to appeal to, come after having gas pressure, which comes after having containment.
So can you build a closed system, like a cylinder or something, like a gas cylinder? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you build one where the pressure on top is thousands of times lower than the pressure on bottom, and it's filled with only gases?
Yes, you can demonstrate having a pressure gradient in a container.
Explain.
You can literally put a container big enough inside an ice bucket if you want to, and heat up the other side, and you'll have two different pressure readings in the same container.
Instantaneously, you can have differences in pressure.
I didn't say anything about
but
instantaneously.
What does the system constantly try to do?
Equalize.
In pressure, right?
But remember, we on Earth live in a dynamic system.
Why does the air? So let's cut to the chase. The air above us, even so, like in your worldview, space is fake. But you agree that, like, how high do you think air balloons go? Or,
as
weather
high
balloons
as
go?
as high as they can go until they either explode or as far as the air around it can support it.
So like you don't have a number for like, you don't have like a rough number?
I think the highest I've seen is about what, 220 feet, 1,000 feet.
Ooh, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me find out some information real quick. At 220,000. Okay, so the pressure at 220,000 feet, what this is telling me is it's 0.0002% that at sea level.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that's probably pretty accurate?
Yep.
Okay, so if pressure can't exist next to a vacuum, how can pressure exist next to a very near vacuum?
Okay, I'm going to try and explain this again. System. We are still in the same system. Just like your tin can, when it was closed, it was in its own system. The Earth's in its own system.
At equal pressure, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, the tin can is at equal pressure because it's pressurized to be that way. It's put in high pressure.
And the gas can't sit at the bottom of the can. Well, I mean, most of it's filled with soda.
Yeah, gas moves in all directions constantly. I agree. But as soon as you open the system, as soon as you open the system, the high pressure would go to low pressure. Now we're claiming with Earth.
Why does the atmosphere not do that?
Because it's in an enclosed dynamic system.
That's irrelevant because no matter if it's closed or open, you can't have a near, even if the system is closed, you can't have a near vacuum next to
it's not next to it. It's in the same system. A pressure gradient is in the same system. You haven't shown that it is separate to space vacuum. Therefore, we can have gas pressure to begin with. You're trying to now push it onto me to say, but we have pressure gradients. Yeah, pressure gradients.
For why Earth's atmosphere. Okay, let's just think about it this way. Let's say that the dome is 1 billion miles tall.
Okay.
Okay. If you were to go to the edge of that dome, 1 billion miles away, 10 billion, whatever, 1 billion miles away. If you were to go to the edge of that dome, what do you think the pressure would be?
Much less than the ground.
I think it would be indistinguishable from a vacuum. What do you think it would be?
Yeah, because it's the same system.
Okay, so how is it magically that you can have in a closed, what you're calling a closed system? I don't know why you would call the Earth a different system than space, because you could just say the universe is a system. Whatever. We don't have to be pedantic about that. What is it that magically allows pressure gradients to go from high to near vacuum in a container? But the moment here, let me ask you a different question. Let's say there's a dome, and the edge of the dome is 1 billion miles away. Mm-hmm. And do we agree that 1 billion miles at the edge of that dome, it's a near vacuum? We agree?
Yeah.
On the other side of that dome, let's just say that it is like a true vacuum, right?
Go on.
Well, you're with me so far?
Yeah. I'm with you.
Okay. Those pressures, though, are very nearly indistinguishable on either side of the barrier, right? So if we were to cut a hole in that barrier, what would happen?
The air inside the system Earth will spontaneously move towards the other system.
How long do you think that would take?
Depends how big your hole is.
Well, I think it would take an extraordinarily long time because it's 1 billion miles away, right?
Do you know when entropy ensues that way, there's no energy change, there's no temperature change, it's just entropy.
What does that have to do with anything?
It spontaneously fills the available space. There's no work done, in other words.
What does that have to do with anything?
That's the law of entropy. It's about work done.
What does this have to do with anything? You're saying things that are I don't know, sounds true and reasonable, but what does it have to do with anything?
That's what entropy is. The law of entropy based on
Are we just
gases.
saying things?
No,
Are we having to point out the obvious
you
contest?
just
My kitty is on my lap.
wait. Just accept you don't understand the law of entropy, and we can talk about something else. That's fine. But don't tell me I'm just saying things.
You're saying things that are irrelevant to the subject matter. Because
okay,
the 5
what is the
times
second
in a
law?
row I said, what does this have to do with anything? You just kept repeating yourself.
Okay, let's do it this way. What is this? What does the second law of entropy state?
The second law of entropy?
The second law of thermodynamics, the law of entropy. What does it state?
Is that the one that
That's one we've been talking about this whole time.
That entropy increases in a closed system or whatever?
The entropy of a system will always increase in the
Increase,
universe. Okay. Get it?
Yeah.
Does it
So
say does it say decrease or increase?
Increase?
Great. So when you open the system to a new system, where is the arrow of time pointing to?
Are you talking about the case where I said we cut a hole in the dome?
Yeah. Where's the arrow of time
Out of the
pointing to?
dome. What I said was how long would that take? And you've just been sitting here saying
Depends on the size of
what
the hole.
entropy is.
I said it depends on the size of the hole.
That's true.
Okay, but you must remember, even though you do have pressure at the top of that million mile dome, whatever.
I'm actually. I do have to cut you off here because I never really got to finish my point. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, when I cut that hole in the dome, why is it that the air on the ground is now eventually going to go up and out of that hole when before, when the pressure at that barrier was virtually indistinguishable from a vacuum, that air on the ground was not trying to rush up? Because gases will always try to equalize in pressure, except magically in a dome they don't.
No, remember when
So what's the explanation for that? Is it just that you're just going to say it's a closed system?
No. Remember I was talking about a dynamic system. Do you know what temperature does to a gas?
Causes the particles to move faster.
And slower.
And the average increase in kinetic energy between the particles means the collisions between them cause the particles to expand in their volume.
Great. And what happens when volume of a system increases?
If the volume increases and the temperature remains the same, then the pressure increases. If you decrease in general, as you decrease the volume, you increase the temperature and pressure.
Yeah, so they're inversely proportional. So the thing is, as soon as you're going to open that system to the new system, the volume is going to increase. So that gas that's there, because it's got pressure, has to go somewhere. As soon as that little bit of gas is starting to release, the gas underneath it is starting to, Why does
the air on the ground not go up to where it's low pressure when the system is closed?
It does, just not as much because yes, it does, because we live in a dynamic system.
It literally doesn't because you have a pressure gradient.
The pressure gradient is because of the dynamic system we live in. Okay, the higher you go up, the more volume. Listen.
Equalizing in pressure, which is what they do in containers.
Listen, the higher you go up, the more volume there is for the gas to fill. The higher you go up, the temperatures change. Okay, so it has contending variables to contend with. This is why you have Dalton's law. Do you know what Dalton's law is?
Dalton's laws were on
the sum of all pressures.
To matter.
No, it's the sum of all pressures. So in other words, you got the different amounts of pressures.
For gas laws, we have Charles' law. We have, I think Boyle's law is one of them.
Gay-Lussac's law.
What's the other one? Dalton?
Gay-Lussac's law. And Dalton's
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. But the thing is that it's partial pressures. So Dalton's law is talking about the partial pressures in the system itself. You have different densities of gases as well. They're all competing to move in the same space. So they're all having collisions. You understand that gas have elastic collisions. They only change direction with a collision.
Yeah.
So if a gas is going up, if it hasn't hit anything, it's just going to carry on traveling up until it finally hits something. So if you've opened that container on the top, there is going to be no nothing to push it back down. It has to just go up, and that's why everything on the ground will eventually just go up and dissipate into the sky, into space.
Wait, okay, so your claim, wow, this is wild. So your claim is that the atmospheric pressure we see here on the surface of Earth will eventually be equal to the air pressure at the farthest extent of the dome. That's your claim.
If it's opened, yes.
What? Why does it not? The question is, why does it not do it while it's closed? When we know that that's what, like, small scale experiments or whatever, that's what gases do. They equalize in pressure. Yeah, you can take a big container and heat, or like you can cool the bottom of it, and that will like condense the gases. But that system will become dynamic, and the gases will move around. Snapshot view, yeah, there are minute differences in the temperature, but the system is always trying to equalize that pressure. We don't have that on Earth. The air on the ground should be flying
we do have that on Earth
into the sky all the time at great velocities, because the pressure differences are extreme. 0.00002%.
And where's the conglomeration of gases?
What does that mean?
Where is the most concentrated air of gases?
Near the surface of the Earth.
Yeah. So where do these gases usually come from? Let's say you drive a car. What comes out the exhaust?
Carbon dioxide, and then some water vapor, and then a lot of carbon monoxide, and some like things your catalytic converter's supposed to hold on to.
Yeah. But my point is, then you got trees also releasing oxygen. You got us releasing carbon dioxide. The point is, all the gases, where is it coming from? The ground. It's going up.
Gases are coming from the ground?
The conglomerate of gases, yes. This is where the concentration of gases is.
You can't see that the soil makes gas?
No, the ground area. Cars driving, us breathing, trees, mountains, all that. That's where the gas is produced and recycled.
That's a recycling of gases that are
produced and recycled, yes.
At ground level.
Yes.
Why do the gases not fly up to where it's lower?
They do actually. Even based on your model, the Earth loses hydrogen and nitrogen quite a few tons a day.
The rate at which it should be happening, based on the partial pressures thing, would be extraordinary, and that's not what we see.
Yeah, because it's a closed system. If it was open, it will spontaneously fill the available space. Remember, like I said, the gases on the bottom.
A closed system can have pressure gradients
because we have
that are capable of reaching a near vacuum.
Because we have pressure. Because we have pressure, that means the gas cannot go up, because it's literally being bombarded by the pressure above it, and it's going down again.
The pressure above it is lower.
It's still hitting something.
Versus a human. The train's going to win that head-on collision. The pressure above is lower. The pressure above doesn't keep the pressure below concentrated. Things go from higher pressure to lower pressure. Now you're the one that doesn't understand. No.
There's still a collision. Even with a less dense gas to a denser gas, there's still a collision.
Oh, this is hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious because you don't understand how entropy works, and are you trying to make it understand?
That the low pressure system above keeps the high pressure system.
I never said that.
In its place.
I said it gives restriction. I didn't say it keeps it from going. It gives restriction.
It doesn't give restriction because the magnitude and forces is so incredibly different. The lower magnitude force doesn't win against the higher magnitude force. It can't keep it at bay. It can't restrict it.
Okay, let me try and put it this way again. If you, for instance, let's say you have a denser gas, okay, and that gas is now moving slow because it's cooling down with its kinetic energy, okay? And you have a less dense gas that is now heated up and it's moving faster, and they have a collision. Which one has more energy to hit the other one to move?
It depends on the molar mass and the specific
agree. But let's just for instance say the one is hardly moving and the other one's moving at 1,000 miles an hour. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
You do realize
the one with more energy.
Realize that the temperatures actually, although the net temperature decreases, temperature and thermal kinetic energy are different. And the thermal kinetic energy, like do you reject that the temperatures as you go up, they get colder, but then they get warmer?
Yes, they get warmer
again, but then they get warmer?
Yes, it gets warmer. You can actually observe the warmth.
Okay.
And when it gets warmer there, the pressure rises a touch as well.
No, because it doesn't keep up with the changes in density.
It does get the pressure does rise a bit when the temperature goes up, because the air molecules are moving faster.
The temperature, maybe, but not the pressure.
But I don't know why we're fighting in a closed system. You're supposed to be showing us how you can have the pressure gradient without a closed system. So can we get to that?
Because there may be other forces at play holding those gases down.
Like what?
Like gravity.
Gravity is not a force.
There are, like, physicists will say that in these sorts of ways, depending on how you think about, I don't know, general relativity or whatever, gravity is not really a force. I mean, I don't care too much about those discrepancies or whatever, but the gravitational effect on matter is noticeable because of things like weight, for example. What do you think causes weight?
Densities, the mass.
Well, not really, because in free fall, something doesn't have a weight, but it always has a mass.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's put it this way.
Wait, do you agree or disagree with that?
You don't have a scalar weight when you free fall, because the scale would be moving the same vector as you, so the net force will be 0.
Okay, so let's try to think about this a little bit abstractly, but to try to get at the core of what's going on. If there was only one thing in the entire universe and it was just floated in suspension, that thing would have no weight. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree, because you have to show that.
Well, it would have mass, so we agree on that.
Everything has mass.
But
Anything
weight,
that has substance has mass.
Yes, everything has mass. But weight you have to have two materials interacting, because my weight, I'm sitting in a chair. You're probably sitting in a chair too, right? My butt kind of hurts. That's because of my weight. You have to have massive objects interacting to produce the weight, because weight is a force. I'm exerting that force on the ground. That's why I said, if there was only one object in the whole universe floating around, it would have mass, but it wouldn't have weight. So do you just reject that, or what?
I don't think gravity is the reason for that weight.
Well, I know that.
I know I would think, yes, I agree with you. Free fall gives you 0 net force.
No, wait. Okay, so what do you think is causing objects to have weight?
We haven't got there, because you have made a claim about gravity. So how do you come?
Yeah, that's my claim. You disagree, so this is where you get to
you haven't shown
the alternative explanation.
You haven't shown gravity to be real. Why do I need to give an alternate explanation?
Well, if you don't have one, then
I do.
You don't have to...
I do, but
okay, you. Well, then give it to us.
First, prove the gravity real. Then I'll give an alternate.
Sure. So we have detected gravitational waves. That's the kind of thing that you guys just say nah about. So I don't really know what to do when there is evidence and you guys just say it didn't happen. That doesn't really seem fair, but you can't say that I didn't at least provide an explanation. We also, I mean, over like 100 years ago, Arthur Eddington and some other guys in South America took photos of the sun and saw stars that were supposed to be obscured by the sun.
That's general relativity.
The light bends around it, so that's an effect of gravity as well. The way it warps.
Okay, but that's general relativity. But that's basically
general relativity.
But that means it's not a force. Gravity. But then it's not a force.
Again, that's just so you accept general relativity. You agree that they really did take pictures of stars that were behind the sun.
That's the latest consensus of gravity, which means it's not a force. So you can't claim a force pulling things to the Earth.
So again, going back to what I was explaining here, gravity is the phenomena that gives us weight, and that weight is definitely a force. But the warping of space-time, as we understand it, causing us to accelerate toward the ground, is what is causing us to have our weight, right? Now, look, if you think I'm a dummy and I don't even know my own, like, I don't even know my own side's explanation for things, that's fine. But just because I don't know something doesn't mean that your explanation is correct. And we haven't heard your explanation yet.
Okay.
So I'm just curious as to what your explanation is.
I'll get to that. But can we quickly ask, because do you think your gravity has gone through the scientific method?
Yeah.
Have you
Cavendish experiment, gravitational wave detection, Arthur Eddington's observations of the stars behind the sun, and those guys in South America that did the experiment on that same day as well. I mean, what else? There are other like really kind of weird things, like the fact that accelerometers measure an upward acceleration. That's a equal and opposite reaction type of thing, but it's consistent with the concept of what gravity is doing to objects. So I would say yes, and you can reject it, that's fine, but I just wanted to know what your explanation was.
Okay. Well, then we'll get into why it's not experiment. Okay. I say
Again,
it's relative.
If you think my explanation is false, that doesn't make your explanation correct. I just want to know what your explanation is. I do want to say, I'm not trying to be rude, but I got to interrupt you because it's important. I want to say two things. One, this has actually been a pretty nice conversation, and thank you for having it and like being a good sport and stuff like that. So I'm actually like, I'll give praise and credit where it's due. But the other thing is, and I have a maximum of about 15 minutes left.
That's fine. It's perfect with me. We should actually maybe do another time then, because I must say it is at least cordial. You agree?
That's fine. So anyways,
okay.
What do you think is the reason we have weight?
Relative density disequilibrium.
Explain, please.
So it falls under the line almost like general relativity, where the object cannot be supported by the medium around it, so it warps and it has an unbalanced force, and therefore it falls. If the medium around it can support it, it will either be neutral or go up, or if it can't support it, the object will fall down to seek its lateral equilibrium.
Forgive me, but this sounds exactly like an explanation for buoyancy.
Buoyancy actually came before gravity. Archimedes' principle predates gravity by 1,900 years.
Yeah, but you do realize, well, your explanation to me, all I'm saying is your explanation to me sounds just like the principle of buoyancy.
Practically, just without gravity.
Okay, but do you know that in the equations for buoyancy, you have to have an acceleration, and we plug in G for gravity. I'm not trying to beg the question.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that is in there. So you have to account for an acceleration to make this work.
No, you put rho VG in there 1,900 years after Archimedes' principle came to be. They used Archimedes' principle to have ships and things work before gravity was even postulated. There was no G in their equations.
The principle of buoyancy
it was simply based on displacement.
A description that something must displace its mass in a medium in order to be buoyant on it. It's not like it's cool, and allegedly it's what allowed Archimedes to figure out that to be able to test whether or not the king's crown really was made of gold, and that's why he shouted Eureka. Maybe you know that story, maybe you don't. But it was really just it's cool, but it's not super sophisticated, whereas the formula for buoyancy, I think, is, I don't know, like a level up. But you have to have an acceleration in there or it doesn't work. Like a centrifuge, right? You can make artificial gravity with a centrifuge. And in this case, the lateral acceleration is many orders of magnitude greater than the acceleration of gravity. That's why we measure these things in G's, right? And that causes materials to sort by density laterally, because that's how a centrifuge spins. And that's why you get, like, in the centrifuge, things are sorting out left to right's not a great way to put it. It's horizontally or laterally, I guess would be a better way to put it.
Yeah, it's got relative direction up and down, you can say.
Yeah, but so we don't live in a centrifuge, although I do maintain that the Earth does spin. But anyways, things sort themselves by density, vertically, we would just say up and down. But there has to be an acceleration component to explain that. So you need to provide an acceleration component to explain that.
Yeah, potential energy.
Potential energy isn't acceleration.
Yes, it is, because it's potential to accelerate. As soon as that unbalanced force is released,
by definition,
wait.
potential energy is energy that is not in motion.
I know
By
it's
definition,
potential
acceleration
to.
is energy that is in motion.
Listen, that's why I said it's potential to accelerate. So that means it's got an unbalanced force. As soon as the object cannot be supported, it will accelerate and then therefore be an acceleration, which is kinetic energy, using up that potential energy. Let's take an example.
No.
If I pick up an object, okay, I've picked it up.
Yeah.
You would agree I've put potential energy into that object.
Yeah, by raising its height, yeah.
Okay, so I've actually burnt energy, stuck it up. Now it's got potential energy. We know the area is not going to support that object. So when I let it go, the unbalanced force causes it to accelerate, and therefore it uses up its kinetic energy until it hits the ground and goes back to static equilibrium. You would agree with that?
Why on earth does it go down rather than up, left, right, or anything like
Simple.
that? Because the density differences between, like you could put an apple in a closed sealed box and make sure that the pressure is the same everywhere in that box and suspend the apple in the middle, drop it. Why on earth does it go down when the differences in density are the same in all directions?
Remember I said you put potential energy into the system. So you have to literally pick up that apple. Okay? So where did you pick it up
Yeah, why
from?
does it take energy to lift it up?
Because you lifted it.
Because
You're
going
doing
against
work.
the
You're doing work.
acceleration of
Yeah, you accelerated it. Exactly. You had
Yeah,
to
you're-
use energy.
No. Because you're going against the vector of that acceleration force. Like,
No.
have you ever been on that carnival ride that spins you around?
Yes. The twister, whatever you
So
want.
it's, have you ever tried to lift up your arms when you're on it?
The centrifugal forces are a lot.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
it takes no energy, passive energy, to let your hand fall back down onto like the surface or whatever that you lay on. But that's
Mhm.
laterally. And the reason it's laterally is because that's the vector for the acceleration.
I agree with
think
that.
that's the proper way to say it.
Yeah, I agree
Why
with that.
is the vector for the acceleration down and not in some other direction?
Because you picked it up, okay, you took it out of its relative equilibrium. So you actually put it further away from the direction of its acceleration, as you put it, okay? When you let it
Why is
go,
the acceleration in that direction? That's the question.
because it works on a support, it's worked on relative direction, because everything supports from the bottom. You can put it as a natural law.
Yeah, but
It's a tendency
why?
for nature to give it the direction. Just like you need
This
a foundation.
is an
No, wait.
Aristotelian argument
Wait.
of motion of objects at rest desire to be.
Okay,
towards
let's put it
the
to
ground.
scientific
I mean,
method.
Aristotelian physics was superseded so long ago.
Okay, let's put it in another way. If you
Okay.
if you take the feather in the bowling ball example and you stick it in a vacuum, okay?
Yeah.
What is the independent variable you're manipulating when you put it in a vacuum?
I guess the pressure within it.
Yes, the medium. The medium is the independent variable. So it's the ratio between the object and the medium's ratio. Okay, so that's not gravity manipulated. Now you have the bowling ball and the feather falling at the same rate. But when you have them not in a vacuum, they don't fall at the same rate. Why? Because the
Yeah, but
feather
they both fall
has
down.
more
The
restriction.
question is why down?
Brilliant. Why down? Because it's heavier, it's denser than the air around it.
It's denser than the air above it too.
But you
Why does
picked it
go
up.
down.
You picked it up, so you put energy into the system. Why would you?
I
Why,
know.
wait. Why would you
is it
expect it
that
to
the
go?
Things are being drawn down. That you're not
No,
answering.
listen.
You're not addressing this.
Listen. Why, when I pick something up, it takes energy to pick it up? Why would you expect it to go further up and expend more energy if you're not doing the work?
Yes, so this is the same question, just asked in a different way. Why is there a downward acceleration, or what is causing
Because
the downward acceleration?
the density, the unbalanced force is what's causing the acceleration, but the thing that made it give it work was you that picked it
Why
up.
down. Why does it make it go down? That's
because the air
question.
cannot support it. You picked it up from the ground.
No.
Do I if I pick something up, do I push it down or do I pick it up?
Flatzoid, I understand that that's the
Okay, okay,
case.
let's try this another time.
The question is that why is it that in
I'm explaining
that
this.
particular direction, that's the direction you have to expend energy in order to accomplish this task? That's not being addressed here.
It is totally being addressed. Now, let's take the same object. You didn't pick it up.
No.
Okay? You're pushing it down. Is it going to come up now?
Say it again.
Let's say I've got
I push it down. Is it?
Let's say that I've got
No.
an object on the table. I'm pushing it down now. Is it going to come up?
Yeah. Like if it was elastic, it might bounce up. But
No, let's just say it's like I got a roll of tape on my hand now. I just put it on the
answer
table.
is no.
Okay, cool. It's
Yeah,
not
the
going
answer is no.
But now, if I take that same piece of tape and I pick it up and I let it go, where's it going to go? Back to its equilibrium point, correct? So that means down.
Yeah. Why down?
Because
I get that
of
because
potential.
you picked it up, but that doesn't address the point.
It
That
does. It needs
that's
to
the
use
same. No, because that's the same
opposite
question.
and equal reaction,
Why
right?
is it difficult to lift it up?
Because it has weight, it's difficult to lift it up. I had to put work into the system. I had to put potential into the system. So as soon as I let it go, it has to use that energy that's put in. It needs to do work. So that's why it goes back
I know.
to its relative equilibrium. It's got nothing to do with a force pulling it down.
That isn't addressing why
That is.
down.
Why
No.
up? Okay, tell me why should it go up?
I don't. Well, it's not my claim.
Yeah, because it's not my claim either why it should go
your
up.
model isn't my model, or your.
It's also
your-
not my
your
claim why it should
tentative
go up.
explanation is not mine. Like that's not my burden to bear.
It's nobody's burden because no one's making the claim it should go up. You're the one saying why not up? I'm not saying it has to go up. I'm
No,
saying
you don't.
the reason it doesn't go up is because you physically had to put energy to the system. Why would you expect it to carry on going up if you didn't put more energy into the system? Energy is what caused it to go up. So that energy release has to go down.
The question is why does the energy go in that direction? And you're not addressing that.
Oh man, how do I put this? Let's say you accelerate a car forward.
Yeah.
You are moving forward. The energy is pushing you forward, correct?
Yeah. And I have an account for what is causing the car to accelerate forward. You haven't given an account for what is causing it to accelerate
let me put it-
downward.
no.
Why the vector of acceleration is downward. You're just saying that that's the direction. And so when I go in the opposite direction, it takes work.
Now, let me
Yes, but
finish
that's
my
not
let me
addressing
finish
the point.
let me finish my point. So you've moved
Go
forward.
ahead.
Now you've pressed brakes. Now you're not pressing acceleration again. Why isn't it moving forward again?
Sorry, I'm accelerating and then I.
Stop. Then you brake.
Sorry, say it again.
I'm
For some
accelerating.
reason I
Okay.
zonked out.
I'm accelerating the car. I'm moving forward. Now I press brakes. I stop dead. I don't press acceleration again. Why am I not moving forward?
Because you're not. There's no force or action. There's no work being done on the car in that direction.
Thank you.
There
So
is
that's
being work done on the car downward because it has weight.
No. Now turn that vertical with the car. Am I putting more energy to make it accelerate upwards again or not?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I
Wait,
picked
what?
it up
I thought you said the car's going up.
Yeah, and then we press brakes, and you say, why is it not carry on going up? Why would it carry on going up if I'm not putting more energy into the system to go up? Now it goes into, can the air support it below it? And the answer is no. And because you have an equal and opposite reaction, the object has to go where? Down, opposite of where you had to put energy into it.
The air above it can't support it either. So
Yeah, but it takes
we've
more
spent
energy
way
to
too
go
long-
up.
We've spent way too long on this one topic. But I feel like I don't think I'm being unfair. I feel like I don't have an explanation for what causes weight yet, though.
Okay, last one. What happens when you stick a scale in a vacuum and you put a weight on that vacuum? And you put a weight on that scale in a vacuum.
So if you put a scale in a vacuum chamber, put something on it, it'll have a weight.
Mhm.
When you take all the air out, it weighs more.
Yeah. Was gravity the
How
reason?
is that consistent with your explanation here?
The air around it supported the object, correct?
So the air pressure pushes on that thing in all directions, and it causes some buoyancy, but not enough buoyancy. It's always lifting. But again, the weight of the air around it, gravity explains why. It's an explanation for why things go down. I think it's a pretty good explanation for why we have density gradients in the atmosphere as well. But when you remove that, the weight goes up because you've sort of removed a force that was acting on the weight.
Yeah, great.
How is this consistent with your explanation?
It's not gravity then. Weight doesn't come from gravity because it's got heavier when you...
The mass of the object is still intact.
Mass is the same, the weight changed, and the variable changed was the medium to object ratio. So relative density disequilibrium.
Yeah, but that I don't understand how that proves anything.
The fact is,
anything outside of the paradigm of gravity.
The fact is, the independent variable is always the ratio between the object and the medium. It's never gravity. Gravity is never the independent variable. There is no gravity to be an independent variable.
Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not true. Again, this is a weird. I've never heard a question asked like that before.
But yeah, go think about it a bit. But I think we should have this discussion again.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think about that. That'd be kind of interesting. I'm trying to think of in the well, whatever. I did say I have to go, and we're about a minute over that.
No stress, man.
Our time zones are so different. It's hard to coordinate. The times
well, I think weekends are going to be easier.
Yeah. Today it worked out for me, but from going forward, weekdays are not going to be great for me.
But yeah, I think I actually enjoyed this. I'm surprised. I thought it was gonna be very different, but I enjoyed it. So we agree we'll chat again sometime.
I'm open to it. It'll be. I have a lot. I don't know. I have a lot going on, but we'll. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate it, and thank you everybody in your Discord for being quiet and actually letting us talk. I appreciate it.
They're good little apostles.
But yeah,
later.
Until next time. Cheers, man. Blessings. Bye. Wow. So if anybody wants to come to the after show bit, just hit me up at flatzoid@gmail.com.
Right.
And leave your pictures at home and videos. Don't bring them with you when you come. You don't need them.
So yeah, there's the link if everybody wants to. Well, the email to get the link to come in.
Somebody came in earlier. Toby came in earlier saying he was Lord Brahma who banned me the other day. This is not right and all that stuff.
Lord.
And he starts saying it was the guy who was in the other day talking to us. And
Lord Brahma. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but then he started saying that this is scripted anyway. And I says, "What's scripted?" And he said, "This is Flat says your light is scripted. Your light is 666 and that." So I ended up banning him on Toby. His missus come in, and I said,
"I have 82 likes, 83 likes. What's he talking about?"
And I said, "I'll get a flat still Toby one." That I banned because it's already gone up in the chart. I couldn't get it, but the Lord Brahma, I don't know, banned that anyway. I mean, if it was banned, then it was banned for a reason. But there you go.
Well,
he was
this
was scripted anyway. You know?
If he wants to troll, then he's not welcome here. As soon as that, as simple as that.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I had no issue with him, but he's acting weird lately. So, oh well. But I just want to say, yeah, 331 votes, guys. PP is delusional. Yes, 36%. No, 44%. Could be 11%. Space biscuits. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate you. So
Richie,
yeah, what do
you
you guys thought on the chat? I was actually surprised.
I actually thought he was going to be an ass because I've seen him before. He's usually quite calm, but when someone said that he didn't agree with, he usually becomes an ass. But that time he wasn't too bad. A little bit condescending
okay.
in there, but it wasn't.
But
too
the
bad.
thing is, but you see the difference between him, where he was talking to me now, and the others. You saw. That's why I say the other ones, it sort of seem scripted, or they're like just new to Flat Earth because they never know anything. I think he's surprised they actually know what's going on. So it's difficult for him. He can't wiggle his way around anyway. But he kept contradicting himself, though.
Richie, you don't get banned and you have a disagree, and you get
Hey,
banned.
Sof.
Hey, Sof.
Exactly. What's up, Solve? Good to see you, man. How's it going? Can you hear us?
There we go. Yeah, I got you. I had it doubled. I had it coming at me in two places. I was like, fuck.
Oh,
I thought he was making a point. Something
I just want to quickly read the super chat. Thank you very much, Tony Whitcomb, for your £5 super chat. If the Earth was a globe, there would be no such word as corpuscular rays. I agree with that. And then Flat Earth Travolta gifted 5 memberships. Really appreciate it. You guys rock. Thank you very much.
Ooh.
Sorry I couldn't read it out while we were debating, but surprisingly.
That reminds me, I gotta get a membership for somebody right quick. Why not?
Thank you very much. I'll call it out in the future.
Right.
Roger gives us a membership.
It's
Thank
scripted.
you, Roger, for
It's
the membership.
scripted. It's all scripted.
Yeah, Mike. I don't understand why a flashing light, a sequence of colors means 666. I mean,
I'm here to tell you that none of this is scripted. Turn the page.
Oh God.
Pause. Take drink of coffee. Oh, I wasn't supposed to read that part. Shit.
But thank you very much, Roger, for the membership. Really appreciate it, man. So what do you guys thoughts on the not actual debate? Because it wasn't really a debate. It was more a chat.
Yeah, it actually was civil enough. Okay, strangely, I didn't think it would be so civil, but I mean, he was a little bit here and there, but yeah, it was actually not too bad. But the same kind of, I mean, he did strawman you a couple of times. Yeah, a couple of times saying, I can't remember what it was about now. I can't remember, but it's the same, isn't it? It's the same as everybody else. It just seems to go back to the same misunderstandings, the same fallacious misunderstandings and stuff. You know, it seems to always go back to the same things. With the RDD and that, you know, he was trying to say, well, why is it going down? And you're explaining it, but he's just not getting it. Saying, well, you're not getting it flat because that's part of it anyway. But the question still stands: why does it go down? Because where did it
start out? It's like, where did it start out, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, where did it start out? It was sitting there fine until you lifted it to a greater state of disequilibrium.
Yeah.
Okay, you took it to a greater state of disequilibrium. So it's, of course, where did it get the energy? You lifted it. Let me ask you, my friend, where did the energy for the fucking helium balloon get? Where'd that come from?
I have no idea.
That energy, I was just holding the damn thing. So is there gravity up in the air that works, or what are we talking about here?
But you see, that's the thing.
Weight. That's why I say when somebody says, what is weight? I say weight is a quantification of the relative density of an object within a given medium. What?
And it's going to return back to its spot where it was.
But that's how I had to explain it to him. But that's why I have to explain it to them always like a dumbed down way with the weight and the scale in a vacuum. It's the only way to try and make them understand. Listen here, it's got nothing to do with gravity whatsoever.
No, well, they've been beat with this stupid ass myth of gravity and mass attracting mass, and it's like, just shut up with that. That's a myth. Okay, that's a myth. That's like mice that spontaneously generate out of garbage. No, that's a myth.
Oh, okay. You're done. Okay.
And so you got all these people claiming it to be actual something, and then they build everything off of that, and then wonder why they can't get any further ahead than they are.
Mm-hmm.
My thing with the free fall though, like things in free fall don't have weight. Bull, dude. Jump out of a plane and pull a parachute. If you don't have weight, that chute ain't going to work, dude.
Yeah, you still have weight. still
Weight
have
doesn't go
weight.
away in free fall. That's insane. What the fuck?
But that's always telling him when you take a scale, you're falling at the same rate. So that's why you can't have a reading, because you're going at the same rate. So your net force is 0, the same as the scale. But if the scale, let's say, was just the ground and you landed on it, oh yeah, you'll know.
Oh,
It will give a reading.
It's a big one.
You'll briefly be conscious of it.
That's quite crazy. But yeah, he didn't understand science, that's for sure. He doesn't understand how they act. But I love how he's just affirming the consequent always. Just got a tangent. You just got the math works. But math doesn't dictate reality. But then it goes doubles down back to, but my math works. So therefore,
I know it's always back to that, but the math works. Mm.
Yeah,
it's
but
like
where
he
do they
just
get
told
math
me
to
the
start
math
with?
doesn't. I mean, he just told me my math doesn't mean it's reality. But then he says his math means
His
it's
method,
reality. Like,
because it
what?
works for him. Yeah, exactly.
You should have took them to Aries failure because they assumed that starlight was coming in parallel, and they found out, wait a minute, it doesn't. It comes in at an angle.
You see,
Jesus
I don't know, but he still hasn't. There wasn't actually anything presented for the globe tonight. I don't know. It was just a whole bunch of just trust me, bro.
The big gotcha was elementary kids do Eratosthenes everywhere. That was
I was like, yeah, and I was one of them. Hello.
Yeah. And people, here's what they don't get about Aaron Krusty Knees, okay? He wasn't setting out to prove the Earth was a globe. He already assumed that the Earth was a globe. He went out there with the idea that it was a globe. That's why he used spherical mathematics in order to find the radius. He was just trying to find what the diameter of the Earth was. He wasn't trying to prove. He already thought the Earth was a globe. So he says, okay, well, let's see how big of a globe it is. Now, that's if the story is even true. But you can do that same type of mathematics using sticks and shadows on your kitchen floor, and it's not going to turn it into a globe. So
we need to go around and do predictions ourselves all over the Earth.
But the thing that did frustrate me though is when I'm trying to explain to him, the sun's rays are physically coming from a sphere, as you claim, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So it's physically diverging towards you. You looking at a railway track is perspective because you are from the observer observing it converge. Physical, optical. Physical, optical. The guy doesn't get the difference.
Odd.
I mean, perspective can only come from observer to observation, not from observation to observer. Now they say it only appears to look like it's diverging. You just told me the object is diverging literally, but now it only appears to look diverging. It's actually parallel after you said it literally is diverging. It's insane.
It's like the 666 light in the back there. It's diverging from the source of that bulb, correct?
Mm-hmm. But that's what I try to tell him. You can literally do this yourself. Take a piece of paper. You can take a local light. Just take some sticks or something, toothpicks, and just stick them on your paper and take the light source away far. You'll get the same angle readings as when you put it close by. Why? Because further away, the light disperses, but it's still divergent. When you go closer, you get the same readings. And guess what? It's on a flat surface both times.
Well, even reflections for that matter, you won't get the reflections we got on a curved surface. There's so many different proofs that show otherwise.
Mm-hmm. It's quite something.
I want to dig into the Spirlander deeper. I want to see exactly how their physics work.
Spirlander.
Yeah, the Spirlander. That water's got to go to the center of mass, man.
No, man. I mean, yeah, I never even thought about that before, you know. I never thought about the directionality of the water, how it should be going on a globe while the Earth is spinning under it, sort of thing. Never even thought about the way it should be actually trying to go linear, but they're saying water will go linearly, won't it? But they're trying to say it goes all over the place. I'm saying it'll want to go towards the equator, won't it? It'll want to go towards the equator.
toward the center of the equator. Yeah,
Towards the center,
but
yeah, exactly.
but the way it works in their model is small cylinders
Yeah,
that go to the center where the pole is.
exactly.
Okay, we have to. I think we should stop talking about model because they don't actually even have a model.
No.
They have. That's what I was trying to explain to them. He's got models. Okay,
Mm.
not a model. Just
the
like us,
gravity.
we have models. We don't have a model because you have a model to explain something like this. I can have a model explaining this spoon, but it only explains one aspect of the spoon. It doesn't explain everything. So you have multiple models explaining different things about the spoon.
Well, tell that Professor Dave when he's really drunk, and he'll laugh at you and pull the globe out of his ass.
But did you guys hear? Jaron did exactly what I said he would do with TFG.
He messaged me on Messenger the first time I'd heard from him since Christmas when I said Merry Christmas to him, and he went off on my ass, man.
Yeah, he doesn't
And-
like you at the moment.
Well, here's the thing I found in there again with the reaction. Now, with my video, when I called ALE, I actually confirmed that yes, they were most likely there between these dates. I found the flights, everything else like that. His big point of contention was because he said he left a day early. And I said, no, you didn't leave a day early. There's no flights out that day.
I agree.
And they're not going to just fly a plane in to come and get you. These flights are set up by the tours.
Yeah.
That's what the schedule is by. So if you go to ALE and you want to do the Emperor Penguin package or whatever else, there are specific dates for those tours. You don't just get to say, hey, I want to come down on such and such a date and do this. It doesn't work like that. And the flights are scheduled around that. So this means all they did was bump up the time of the flight. Now, and if I'm wrong, show me your passport stamp that you arrived on the 17th in Argentina or Chile and not on the 18th. That's all you got to do. Just show your passport stamp. That's it.
Yep.
So there's something hot button important that I touched a nerve or something on about that day, about there being that day. Because let's look at this logically. These people go and sign up for some kind of a tour. They're scheduled to leave out of Buenos Aires on the 18th, right? And what happened? You just went ahead and went the day before instead? What happens to those people? You're like, what the fuck, man? You screwed up all my shit. Or are you trying to tell me you took the tour down there a day early, gave them an extra day for their money, and screwed this group out of a day? Okay, because this package between the 14th and the 18th is offered every fucking year.
It's the same package.
It's the same package.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was no flight coming in on the 17th and going back out on the 17th.
But I also want to find out then, do they reimburse you because you paid for an extra day?
Well, that's the whole thing. So that if there were 2 days in Argentina, why didn't you just say, hey, we're going to have an extra day here in Chile or, Buenos Aires, which is actually in Chile. Chile kind of comes down and makes a little string around the bottom of Argentina.
Borders just between Argentina and Chile, like
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
side.
It's really weird. Anyway, why not? Where's the video of this? Now, he did show video of him flying back, and it shows the times on the headrest display. And you know how they have all the information right there, but there's one thing that's not on that heads up display. The date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Weird.
So the only way to actually verify that is going to be by showing a passport stamp. But for some reason, that discrepancy between the 17th and the 18th was a surefire hot button issue with him. And I'm like, well, hey, I'm looking at these flight schedules. I talked to the ALE lady. I know how the flight schedules work. I know how it works in conjunction with the thing. So, if indeed that's true, then just show your fucking passport stamp. That's all.
Well, yeah.
And I'll admit, okay, they must have done that. But the way I'm looking at it, it's like, okay, so that means the people that were going to go in on the 18th and had to go on the 17th, that means that they actually got an extra day for free.
Yeah.
And these guys lost a day for their $32,000. All right. Or they flew in an airplane completely empty just to pick up 10 fucking people.
Weird, huh?
And that's
On
a
the
lot.
same day, on the same day that the Chilean Navy landed an Orion P3 aircraft, and we see the photographs of that on their Facebook post with clear skies. So
Yeah, and that's the day they said they have to go because
yes,
storm's coming in. And if you listen to the conversation between Whitsitt and Jaron, they're saying they were wondering they were watching the snow clouds come in very badly. They're wondering, are they even going to get off before the pilot comes and picks them up? But that's the same day the Chilean Navy came there and it was clear skies. So it's really odd.
so I don't know.
It
You know, it's
really
I'm
nice.
just looking at logic here, and it would be real easy to dispel. Just show me a passport stamp showing that you arrived in Chile on the 17th and not on the 18th.
Yeah.
Because
Really
it's
weird.
like these flights are scheduled. Even there's flights on there. The flights are scheduled right now, all the way up through the end of January. They're already there.
Yeah, because it's now it's visitor season. That's why it's tourist season.
Yep.
So they have it set up like that every year. I just want to say thank you, John Travolta, for your $10. He says Flatzoid is ace. No man, you are ace. All of you are ace. Thank you very much for coming. By the way, hit the likes, share the show, guys. Appreciate you all because I'm sure we can get a lot more likes than just 90. I mean, we're almost 300 people at the stage, and I'm sure it can have more than 90. But thank you, guys. We're about 200 people now.
Nice.
We're missing 110 likes. What's going on? Come on. Have you seen this short from Alan Norstrand yet, guys?
Oh, I haven't seen it. Michael told me I
No.
haven't seen it. I haven't
Watch
seen
this.
it.
Watch this.
Okay.
I'm going to try pause it. He's walking behind the sun.
No way.
Look again. He's going to look again. That's not light wraparound. That is literally something sketchy going on there. Again?
Like,
Again.
I see it. Yeah. That there was no silhouette neither, was there?
It's nothing. It's just, he's just walking right through
Oh,
it. Like the sun is closer than him for some odd reason.
Weird. Really weird.
There's one where
Well,
the mountains bubble and wrap around too when they get in the screen.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird things going on. People
guy
are
from
sending me
Houston-
emails like crazy as well, the things they spot. But I mean, I've seen some parts where the cameras from the different people, same timestamps, the clouds are different.
Yeah.
Why are the clouds different if you have the same cameras, your camera's at exactly the same position at the same time?
I know what to get Austin and Jaron for Christmas: iron underwear, because it's going to bite them on the ass, dude. All the lies, dude. It's going to come out. They will come out. I guarantee it.
And then today I saw a video where Whitsitt was smoking. He was holding a smoke in his hand while he's got that white jacket on, the same one when he was talking with Owen Benjamin. So now I'm thinking to myself, we were trying to figure out what that smoke was coming from the side. Could it be just the smoke from his hand with the smoke in his hand? So if you had to hold the smoke in your hand now, just like this here, it's going to come up. Could it not be that?
Yeah, could be.
It's really weird.
I'm looking at Akumu virus. He's getting dumber and dumber listening to this. We'll go someplace else, Akumu.
He hasn't got any brain cells to get dumber, so I don't know. He's in the minus or something.
Who's that?
Akumu virus.
Who?
Virus.
Akumu virus.
In chat. He's an Arwen fan, isn't you, Akuma? You're an Arwen.
Oh yeah.
You was always an Arwen. He's an Arwen fan. He misses him, I bet.
Go to Rumble, dude. He's over on Rumble right now.
Yeah, so I'm actually set up on Rumble stream tomorrow, actually. No.
Oh,
You see that? Brenda called me a murderer today.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Brenda's obviously. Brenda says Brenda never watches me. Oh, I don't watch your crappy streams anyway, PJ. I don't watch your crappy videos anyway. Why would I get you banned? But comes in when I was talking to Roger, talking to somebody about Max, and I thought it was from Magnum PI, and it wasn't. It was actually from Heart to Heart. And I started doing the intro, and it says, and it was murder. And Brenda come in private and says, yeah, you would know about murder, wouldn't you, PJ? Because in my testimony, in my videos, and I talk about it as well, I suppose, I've been done with manslaughter. So try to get to me because I've been done with manslaughter. And the thing is, I was charged with manslaughter, never convicted on it, and it was never murder. You know what I mean?
Nope. I know. Oh, God.
You know, so that just goes to prove.
I don't know how. I don't even know how a man wearing a dress, and thinking that there's somehow a woman, thinks that anybody is actually going to take anything they say serious.
Mm-hmm. Vicky keeps saying like coming from a baller that doesn't like his own balls. You know what I mean? And if you want to be a woman, but if you want to be a woman, how come you haven't made more of an effort?
I think these woke people should just get a life. If they want to be delusional, it doesn't mean the rest of us have to be delusional with them. It's as simple as that.
Maybe there's an island somewhere that they can go to. Fruitcake Island.
I was watching a video from a guy. He's literally, you can see his guy got beard, everything. And every time he sits at a restaurant, records himself, and the waiter keeps calling him sir. And then the guy gets all offended and all, goes on like Karen.
Oh,
what is your manager? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it hurts because he keeps calling me sir. And the people are like, but you are a sir.
Yep. I know exactly what video you're talking about.
Funny.
I've done that before. It was a cop. And I was like, first off, man, are you a man or a woman? Are you just like an effeminate fat dude, or are you just a fat woman? What is Jesus? Don't they have a fitness program in your outfit? What the hell?
Have you seen how unfit some of the people can, even our police force and stuff, and even military? The guys struggle to get in the damn cars. They're so fat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. How do you get that job?
I don't know. Well, my dad went in the service. They put you through it, dude. You do not. Yeah.
When I grew up, when my dad was in the military, they were very strict on fitness.
Yeah.
You had to be fit. You had to be neat and tidy. Today, the people don't even wear their berets right. They got their shirts tucked out. They don't even have their boots laces. They're as fat as I don't know. They struggle to just sit in a chair. They're so incompetent. It's insane, but they have the job.
At one point, you couldn't have any tattoos showing if you went military, but now I mean you can have tattoos probably in your face everywhere, you know. But
you can have long hair now in the military.
Long hair, as long as it gets tied up or something. If you're on parade and that, so it's not sticking out or whatever. But yeah, you can. There's a lot of compromise when it comes to military now, isn't there?
The military is problem, dude.
Yeah, well, the biggest problem our military has here is their recruitment levels are way down.
Right.
And the biggest reason is, well, one, nobody's wanting to get in that shit. And two, they can't find anybody that's smart enough or not fat.
Well,
these people there's a bunch of doughy, fat, stupid people. And it's like, no. And so they've had to lower the requirements in order to get them in. And the more you keep lowering the requirements, well, the bottom of the barrel's soon to come up, and you're right there now. Dude, I was in basic training. They caught two guys that was funny one night in a shower. And this was in basic training. They caught them in there doing some shit they probably shouldn't have been doing. And I didn't find out about it for a week. I was like, what happened to those guys, man? And I said, I don't know. People are like, I don't know. They just were gone like the next day. And then we found out what had happened. Now that was tame. They just sent them home. My uncle Johnny, he was in the Navy in World War II. And he was telling me one time he was on the USS Pringle. It got hit by a kamikaze plane in the Coral Sea and went down in like less than 3 minutes. And he was telling me they were out at sea, and there was one guy, they found out he was gay, you know, and like the next day that dude was just gone. Now, how do you get a guy off a ship that you don't want on the ship and you're out at sea? What's that tell you they're done? They threw his ass overboard, man.
Yeah.
So I'm saying
What's
it's just
crazy?
too compromising that they've compromised that their way, isn't they? I mean, come on, the military used to be strict, you know. I mean, you know yourself, so you were military, weren't you? I've never been military, but my dad was military, and yeah, I mean, I remember my dad says everything had to be so perfect that he usually his inspection was brilliant, and he says one day like they checked. My dad was in the army in the 50s. My dad would be 86 now if he was alive. So he was in the army. He was 18 in the 50s. So he was in the army in the 50s. He went to an English regiment, so he didn't have to wear a kilt because he had skinny legs, big body and skinny legs. So he didn't have to wear a kilt. So he went to the East Surveys, but they're disbanded now. But he said on parade, he had everything perfect. Everything was usually perfect. The bounce on his sheet and everything. But he had this water bottle, and the cap underneath there was a metal kind of screw thing, a little tiny screw. Everything else was perfect. They actually checked this one day, and he had one tiny speck of a little bit of rust on it. Tiny speck. And he got busted for that. Everything else was perfect, but a tiny bit of rust. And that's all for discipline, you know. But now, you probably get away with all that crap. You know what I mean? It used to be very disciplined, didn't it?
It did. It did.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. Discipline, yeah, absolutely. Discipline, yeah, that, man.
My dad missed Korea, being drafted to Korea, just because of coming home to a letter.
Wow.
He had just gone and took his physical in Fort Wayne, Detroit. He went down there and took his physical to be sent over to Korea. He got home, went to the mailbox, and his indenture papers came as making him an apprentice in the tool and die field. And there was a clause in the draft conscription that skilled trades were not draftable.
Huh.
So he had just come home from his physical and opened the mailbox, and there was a thing saying, "Welcome to Fisher Body Apprenticeship Program." Boom.
Wow.
He
That got him
probably
out
worked on one of my cars, man. I got a couple of bodies.
Yep, 1952.
Had a couple Pontiacs, GMCs, all Fisher bodies. They're nice. They used to be one of the best in the business, man.
They shut down Fisher Body, and Pontiac Motors bought it, and then that's where they were making the Fieros, those little plastic cars that Pontiac
They're
had
ugly.
out back in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but during the war, now my grandfather was plant security there, and that plant was converted over to make P-38 Lightnings, the twin
Nice.
engine, twin tail fighter plane. So that's pretty cool.
I want to put this up quickly.
The Kumu?
Literally, you just debunked yourself in your own argument, your Archimedes. There's a way to test if RDD's weight. Change both volume and mass of objects independently to see if it affects weight the same. What's density again, guys?
It depends on the medium and the weight.
You're on board with the ratio between the density of the object per volume and the density of the medium per volume is the determining factor of whether the object displaces the medium or the medium displaces the object. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
The
comes.
relative density. Yeah.
I don't know what's so hard for the Globus to understand this. It's just
They
displacement
got that
ratio between the medium and
Math
the object.
attracts math bullshit in their head. That's why.
You know what's the funny thing is? relative density equilibrium has more in common with general relativity than their own Newtonian gravity.
Yeah. This is why obese people do physical therapy in a pool.
Yeah, they need to, because it makes them lighter. It's less strain on their joints, and they can expend more calories because they can work out longer.
Right. And
So,
the astronauts are in a pool. Why?
It's because they're weightless, man.
they got back.
I thought it
They
was
got
because
back
shit.
moments.
I thought it was because shit floats, but yeah, I like your answer. That works.
And then you used to get all these myths that goes around with the astronauts as well. That when they're up there, because they're in weightlessness, the vertebrae kind of come apart. So when they get back to the Earth, they have to shrink again. They're taller when they come back to the Earth for a little bit. Then they shrink again because the vertebrae comes back together. So they made this whole lore optical with this crap as well. You know what I mean?
Speaking of which, our good friend Lore Lodge. Do you remember Lore Lodge?
Oh, Aiden Mattis.
It matters.
So
The-
there's a
the wish
video
boy, yeah.
I got sent this morning of him, and it was on some show, and he ends up. I sent it to Michael Kahn. Let me see if I can find it real quick, and I've got it at the timestamp.
I like. I just
him in a
I just
French-made outfit. A French-made outfit, my
What?
friend.
no.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we were making fun of his for his gay cowboy outfit the last time. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because we were making fun of him as like part of Brokeback Mountain.
Let me see here. I'm pretty sure I sent that to him.
Oh no.
Oh, this is another one too. You might want to look at this one real quick. It's on YouTube. Hold up. Let me.
Yeah,
give
because
you-
I haven't really bothered with that guy since he's too much of a coward.
I'm putting this back in the private chat here. This is pretty good.
Well, Flats, you don't understand the Socratic method,
Let me see. I can go.
Oh, no fanfare. Yeah, this is great with Mountain Dance.
There we go. I put that. Yeah, I got the link in the private chat to that
Yeah.
one.
What?
Okay.
That's fantastic.
The Late Chuck Show. People shrink in space, idiots. You're not supposed to shrink. You're supposed to get bigger, man, because you have less pressure on you.
Yeah, when you're in space.
When you're in spastic
You're in
space.
space. Aye.
Now Akumu virus is going, oh my God, there's upside down people. Where? Come on, dude.
What? Is the
Yeah.
upside down people? What?
Where? That's what Akumu claims. Upside down people somewhere.
If Australia was down under, it'd be in Hades.
Guys, do subscribe to No Fanfare. Here's the link.
Something.
No breath visible. But you can see
Yeah, look good. But that is explain that for me.
We don't have to hear this song.
Explain that from his
Yeah.
360, but the thing
Look at
is,
the sun.
yeah, everything is
I see breath.
Yeah, that's a lot of breath.
I see breath.
it's a bit weird.
That's a lot of breath, dude. That's a
Yeah.
lot more than I saw with which.
Can see in his nose. It's not too great.
No. At least it's not vaping.
Mate.
Yeah, 2 suns. There we go. But you see, this is what they're going to say is this is because of the 360 lenses.
Right.
Of course they
I
are.
have an
I just thought
exception.
I thought it was kind of cute. What the hell, right?
Yeah.
This
The
is
music makes
this is our lore lodge guy right here. This should be 2:33 is about where this starts to happen.
I just,
Right.
you know, that's why I've always been way less sus of the parents than so many have, and I've looked at the other solutions to this more than those. It's because
Oh no!
it's not like some cases
What?
you see.
Oh
where
no! Is that
you
him?
can kind of from the jump see immediate,
Right.
I don't know, neglect or motivations for
There we go.
something.
Hey, it's there.
Could kill
No.
them. You know, I wanted them to pay attention to what things that could have killed them, like touching the
Why?
outlet, electrical outlet, running out in the
That's so
street,
much.
those kinds of things.
No.
You know, it was severe stuff
Yeah.
Aiden matters.
that I really wanted them to pay attention to. But like I said, I can count on one hand how many times I've spanked my
He just
children.
means he got-
And my children are adults now, and they'll tell you they deserve it every time they got it too. So
Well,
What the?
What? That's what?
What?
What the flying donkey?
And the guy sitting next to him looking all, you look. You
Hey,
look
I
kind of
heard
yummy."
that. I like
You see that?
you.
He's giving him a like sexy stare.
And then,
Oh no, man. What the hell?
you're nice. I like you.
So why does he has a Rosicrucian cross behind him in the back? Look at it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
She's
This
a
is-
lovely
well,
fella.
I mean, ultimately, I just wanted to make sure because I just feel like every time that gets talked about, and especially with the other side.
Anyway, that's at about 2 hours and 30.
Who is that wearing a dress?
Like that. Let me put this over in the chat for
can't.
anybody that wants it.
I think he's looking for shock value. I'm not sure. He drinks too much, dude. That's all I
The
know.
humiliation ritual.
What? Lord Lodge drinks too much.
Remember, he's a Mason, guys. It's humiliation ritual. There we go.
It could well be. Could well be. That surprised me one little bit. And he's got his cross on his neck as well.
Oh
Yeah, he says that's one thing that he could. He says you can be a Christian. No. Sorry, no. Wow, hectic.
I'm not lost for words, man.
I don't even know, man.
It's crazy. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna have to end the show.
Damn.
But that was wow.
Yeah.
what a bomb to end the show on.
You're not a bombshell.
Yeah. What are we on? Top Gear now? Jeez.
Yeah, that's what I got it from. That's what I got it from.
Power!
There's links for
Yeah. Any closing statements? Roger, you first.
Well, no, you handled that quite well. There were a couple things I may have said a little different. When he did that free fall thing, I would have mentioned parachutes. Wait. Yeah. But
we didn't get there. Though,
He didn't want to confuse him, Roger. Come on.
He's scratching his head right now, I'm sure.
What was that all about?
And he needs to learn the scientific method, actually, just simple.
I have to give it to him. I have to give it to him. He at least knew a bit better than even FT and McToon and them.
Mm-hmm.
I have to give it to that.
Let's see. I was expecting him to be a bit of an numpty, but I mean, he was a little condescending here and that, but he wasn't too bad, to be honest, considering.
Well, if you watch his video calling me out to the debate, it's like a total different guy.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. You usually find that, don't you?
It's like he didn't expect you to be there, dude. It seemed like it to me.
No, he didn't expect me to be there. He thought I was going to chicken out. Because he was actually telling him, he's going to chicken out. He's not going to show up, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
Me, chicken out of a debate.
You never have to. Never.
Okay.
Despite what people say, I know. It's like, I mean, as you get older, I mean, I tried to Sean said it for ages. I've been trying to debate Flats for ages, and he just won't.
Oh.
And then the last I heard is that Flats lost to Sean, and Sean said it, didn't he? Where did he say it? He said it in somebody's.
You lost. You came and debated you twice, and you lost both times. I demolished you. The first time he didn't even speak; he just sat there.
And then
the second time he muted us and then kicked us because he got angry because he wouldn't let us talk. Right?
First time, that time when when he stopped speaking, when he says, "I'm not going to say another thing till you tell me, Flats," and you told him, and he still didn't say anything.
Yeah,
And then eventually he says, "Okay," like he's kind of was going to speak. Then he was like talking, and he was muted. And then he said he typed it out or something, didn't he? He said, "Oh, my mic's broken." No, it wasn't broken. He was lying. He didn't know what to do.
Well, wasn't. Wait a second. Sean is the only person that I've ever seen that chickened out from a debate. And that was with me. And he
Yeah, I
did it.
remember
He
that.
waited until it was about to start, and he did it in the fucking chat. He didn't even have
the balls
decency
to-
to. Yeah. So he was the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
one I've ever
And
seen.
by the way, Sean's watching this, so yeah, Sean.
Yeah, he's actually doing it live.
He's gonna start messaging me again. Does it? Are you?
Yeah.
Chonky
He was
honky.
definitely getting desperate. He was definitely getting desperate when you were on holiday, though, Flats, because he was.
Oh yeah, he was
doing
like
he was doing me live, so he must have been desperate.
he was streaming very weird stuff. If you weren't streaming, he was probably gonna stream his blow up doll. So at least.
I must be better looking than his blow up doll. I think he did it once. I don't know. He did it
But the
once,
problem is he doesn't have money for the blue pills because he uses it all on weed.
Oh God. Viagra won't cure everything, man. I promise.
Yeah. So, Roger, you guys gonna have a show later?
Yeah, I want to go over the South Magnetic Poles. I'm just gonna take a deep look into it. That's what I'm gonna do.
No,
I know who's coming back with a whole bunch of magnetic readings from the final experiment, and that would be Mr. Toon.
Mm-hmm.
I love that guy. I really do. He gives me content. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
PJ?
care about that guy.
Yes. Yeah, I'll put the links in. I think I've already put links in, but I'll put them in again. 2 p.m. GMT. Usual. I think we're doing a Daniel C thing. I already did give my final statement, though, didn't I? Is this just for stream? Yeah, my stream tomorrow. Yeah, we did give final statement, didn't I? Or did I?
Yeah.
I thought so. Yeah. So yeah, 2 p.m. tomorrow. Oh, what am I doing? 2 p.m. tomorrow. Be there or be a rumbus. Or do something
I haven't
else.
heard that. No.
Or do something else. There you go. No, I'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, and then Sov?
Oh, I'm probably going to go live tonight because I didn't last night. I was on Ironworks instead. And yeah, I'll be going live tonight. If I do, it'll be around 9:30 Eastern U.S. time, whatever that works out to be in world time. I'm going to need to get a thing up here that just shows me all the different times around the world. Hey, that's what I need, like on those old movies with the newsroom where they got all the different clocks. London, New York, you know. All that shit up on the back. That would be bad as hell. And I also want one of those string walls where you've got the photographs and the
That'd be
push
pretty
pins
cool.
and all that shit like they show in it. Yeah.
A beautiful night type thing.
Yeah. So we'll go live. I'm not really sure what we're going to get into. I might go in and look at this debate you did on the gravity. I missed a lot of it because I was at work today. We're working on this old house up the street. And, dude, we had to replace these pieces of floor joist. And I could run the reciprocating saw through that shit without even pulling the trigger. I'm not kidding, man. Termite damage.
Yeah.
But the house is like over about 100 years old. And boy, is that a nightmare. There's nothing square anymore after that amount of time. Nothing in there. There's always, so you're trying to square shit up that's not square. We're turning it into a Airbnb.
Nice.
That's what we're doing. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, I missed the debate, and I'll have to
I
review
smoke.
it if I get time.
I was going to say, LJ, thank you for the $2. Which I say, Sov, Jaron mentioned your name in his post yesterday. Yep.
Oh, yes, I know. He sent me a very scathing message on Messenger, and then called me and tried to berate me on the phone as well. But you know how well that works on me.
Well, I could tell you just sat and took it, Sov, and didn't say a word.
Yeah. Quiet like a mouse, dude.
I told him, I says, dude, you guys have more tells than the worst fucking poker player I've ever seen in my life. Did you see my community post? I posted that one from Level Earth Observer, showing what's it. You know, there it is. Boom. And I just put it in a post in my community post and said, "What's up now? Sincerely, the retards."
Mm-hmm.
Sincerely, the retards.
It's
And then
insane.
he's calling me he says, "You're a bad researcher and shit." And I'm, dude, I called the freaking company. I talked to the lady on the phone.
You did it
I
live.
You asked every question possible.
I mean, we're all bad researchers. When I literally got all the planes they ever owned, all their registrations, all the time, even when they were decommissioned, when the stickers were put on and everything. But we're bad researchers, you know.
Yeah.
Horrible. Yeah.
I know someone's got it recorded in the woman's voice, you know, actual. You asked every question possible. I mean, even to the point where she said you had to like double check. She said, "So yeah, daylight, you'll see all the daylight," and you said, "Will that be daylight or will you see the sun?" And she says, "Yeah, you'll see the sun." So she said both of them. So I mean, you were thorough. You were thorough.
Right.
Good job.
But the interesting thing is they don't have any advertisement to come down for a 24-hour sun.
Nothing.
Okay. There's nothing there about that. And if you go to the travel agencies in Chile and Argentina and shit like that, looking for a trip to see the 24-hour sun, they send you to Norway.
Yep. Iceland, Norway, a lot of other places.
Yeah. It's like, why not just down there?
Oh, God. Because there's not a 24-hour sun.
There it is. And there's something important about that date. Something very important about the 18th.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's what hit the nerve. And I was like, dude, I can't believe you're getting all that pissed at me. I actually, by doing that and on my show, showing aerial footage of the camp on the promo thing for ALE, actually verified, yes, this is where he walked through the camp right here. You can see this building, and then you can see where he went left to the tents and everything. So yeah, it verifies that they were actually in Antarctica. Okay, at this camp. All right. But like I said, I know how movies are filmed too. So we keep that on the back burner. He didn't say anything about that at all. He jumped right on. "You're lying about the departure time. You're a terrible researcher and shit." No, I'm not, because I found out that's not how that went down, brother. And if I am wrong, well, all you got to do is show your December 17th passport stamp arriving in Chile. That's all you got to do, man.
That's it.
Be real simple. And then I'll say, okay, I was wrong. They must have went to the added expense to send down an entire 757 completely empty to pick you up because there was going to be some kind of a storm, even though they didn't bother waving off or anything the Chilean Navy. And so you're going to have to land another day, airport's closed, or whatever the fuck else they're going to do. None of that, you know. Something very, very important about that.
Yep.
So is that when they did studio time?
Could be.
It's weird, but that's what I say. I think they did go. But what perplexes me is why we're getting so much anomalies in the sky, to be exact. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that they got filters put on just for the sky to make funny shit up. I mean, you think they can't write a program that just does augmented reality just for the sky part? Come on.
Oh, they do. I got a background for my camera on my phone that I can pull up, and it makes me like I'm in a sketched room. You know, it'll take my surroundings, or it'll make just a virtual thing behind me in 3D, you know. I mean, and that's a free app on the phone. So I don't know what they've got. We got a guy that's with them that's affiliated with Disney, Amazon, and the rest of that bullshit, right? Candace Owens. Don't even get me started, man. It was a production. It was a psyop. It was multifaceted. Didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be said. They've got to have got. It all lines up for them to have been there. I think they definitely were there.
Oh yeah.
They've got to.
Well, they kept the line up for it, but what they filmed while they were there wasn't filmed.
And the only live stream that was done showing the sun supposedly crashed because of Starlink or some other nonsense. And that somehow took it completely down off of the video platform for some reason, which never happened.
When I told Jaron I was going down there, he said, "Good luck with that." That was the last thing he told me.
Didn't they say they couldn't do a 24-hour live on YouTube because YouTube only allows you to do 12 hours?
12 hours, yeah.
So
they were doing it on Rumble. It was on Rumble.
Yeah, but doesn't Globebusters have got a 24/7 channel?
Yes, they do.
Yep, they do.
It's on 24 hours.
Yes.
So how is it only 12 hours?
Because it keeps taking away an hour. So if it goes in, the first hour gets taken away. Second hour goes, it takes a second hour away from the stream. That's why.
Oh.
But the thing is, they organized with Rumble to take away, the limited space and all that. So they could have done a 24-hour stream on Rumble. No issue.
That's why Candace was doing it on Rumble, right? Yeah.
Right, but then why did they remove the video?
I don't know, dude. Good question.
They didn't even attempt to try it again. They didn't attempt. It's literally, we tried. Okay, let's stop it. That's to me.
I'll tell you why. The fucking thing's set. That's why it's set.
Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, they could have recorded half the day when it was in the sky and just mirrored the sun's path the other side. And that's why you get the sun going like this and stuff, because it's maybe just the sun itself is mirrored on the other side. That's it.
Remember the Alice in Wonderland analogy I made about it? Yeah. Going through the looking glass, man.
Because what's also weird is the sun's a bit very high in the sky. If you look at the north, the sun's much lower to the horizon.
Gotcha.
There, it's very high.
It should be even at that time, right?
Is it the same as the north?
Yes.
So I find that really odd.
It is. The final experiment is a fruitful of poisonous tree. Yeah, absolutely. It's pure deception at the end of the day. Pure. I mean, that word shouldn't go together with the deception. Pure deception. It's just a way of talking from Scotland. Pure deception. It means it's like really, really deceptive to the max.
That would make a good energy drink. All the kids would buy it.
Pure deception.
Another anomaly. People are sending me. I have to just shout out to everybody that's been sending me emails and stuff. Really appreciate it, because they've been sending a lot of things that they see is weird and asking about it. And I have to say, I appreciate all of you doing that, because it is it's good to do this.
Yeah, the community's all over, dude. They're picking through even the stuff that Witz and everybody else are putting out too. It's like they're finding like weird stuff in it all.
Yeah.
Worst thing about it, I think, too, is that a lot of the people that are looking at this and taking critical eyes at it were trained to do so by the very people that they have under scrutiny. I mean, you got to look at every time that they've analyzed a NASA video or a SpaceX or whatever, they're looking for all those little glitches. They're looking for all those little screw ups, aren't they? They're looking for when you can see a wire from a harness, or where you see a bubble, or where something accidentally drops when it shouldn't drop, that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Or water in a cup on a space station. Yeah, that's
I know.
Exactly. So it's people aren't doing any. He's calling them retards for doing exactly what they do.
Yeah. Well, they're king of the retards now. So.
Della Jeda Didi Solin. I don't know how much it cost all in all, but one person's fare, what was it, 32 grand?
Came out to 35 almost.
Yeah, for the fare to go over there and that. But I don't know all.
And the thing is, what I found weird is they said that Duffy gave them all spending money as well. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And they said
money, boys.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, Jaron and what's it, but they ended up buying their own food in Punta Serenas anyway, because they had no money. It's like, how does he give you spending money, but you have no money for things? You have to buy food yourself. Did he give you like 10 cents and say, "Oh, there's your spending money"?
Hey, don't spend that time in one place.
Spend it all in one place, Trevor. And make sure you look after Whitsit when you take him down to the disco.
But yeah, guys, sorry, I gotta go. Appreciate you all. Please do hit the likes if you haven't already. Share the show. Make sure to join PJ, Roger, and Sov just now on all their shows.
Thank you.
And then I'll see you all tomorrow night for another exciting show. Really appreciate you all. Glad you enjoyed the debate. And yeah, till next time, many, many blessings. May the pressure with you. Bye-bye.
Crafted science of the divine. I'm made for something true. In God's plan, my path renews. Flat earth made by Him. My journey long yet thin. Purpose found in